We're back into what has been a very long return away from one of the most important circuits in the Middle East. It was here in 2004 that has kickstarted a motorsport boom in the region. The Herman Tilke design circuit is regarded as one of his finest tracks, having stood the test of time for its first race to the modern era. GPVWC makes its return to the Bahrain circuit. Since 2023, the 2-year absence brings a lot of unknowns, as most of these drivers here will make their debut in the desert under the career ladder here today. Coming through 4 different race winners in the first 4 races, it's been action-packed already from the start of the season, and Bahrain International Circuit is going to be the host for the 3rd round of the Formula Sprint 2 Championship. Hello everyone, welcome to Formula Sprint 2 for the 3rd time running. Remco de Zeeuw is here for the broadcast directing side of things, and join alongside me once again for the 3rd time in a row, Lorenzo. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you very much, Amir. And yeah, obviously, 3rd round in of 16. We've seen 4 different race winners across these previous 2 rounds so far. I do wonder if we can keep the streak going. I think there's definitely drivers who can fill in that role and continue on the streak. If we can have 6 different race winners today, that'll be a pretty interesting start to the season. But yeah, you mentioned it's been quite a while since GPWC has been in Bahrain. I think it's been 2 seasons, maybe, I could be wrong. But anyhow, one thing I have noticed that drivers have been complaining about is the lack of grip, and seeing as there's quite a lot of new faces on this year's grid, I do wonder how many of them will be caught out by that. And yeah, just overall I do think that today's race might be slightly more chaotic than the previous 2, but I do also think we're going to see some grey races, as someone has decided to park themselves on the apex there, and as the viral video goes, you can't park there, mate.
I know. Vicentievich, Lepet, and Ockenhaug are the ones that the only drivers, I think, from what we have here today, are the only ones that have last raced in the Bahrain International Circuit from the last time it has appeared in FS2. That was back in 2023, and that just goes to show you just how much the era has evolved. But looking back for what happened in Formula Sprint 2, 2 blockbuster endings in Suzuka means that the standings have now almost been a little bit of a change. But Ben Skinner is still going to be the one leading through the field. Christian Glamsetter happily takes 2nd place after his first race win in his career, and for Fox Esports, Philip Cervinski, having completed through to his first pole position in Suzuka, managed to get through to 3rd and 4th. He's been one of the strongest drivers in Suzuka from there. Jonas Corrala just about denied from his first win in race 2 from his duel with Glamsetter, but the Priority Esports 1 driver, or Priority 1 Esports driver, will still hold on to 4th. Casper Curtis manages to recover exponentially well, as he also got his first race win in FS2 in race 1, beating Cody Nikolakowski, who on his debut got 2nd. Justin van der Smith and David de Vries still holding through to their momentum from Australia. They finished both in the points, and they will still be in 6th and 7th respectively. Mika Kimi is down there with about 8 points adrift from the VMS Sun Edits racing driver, with Mark Salagi following behind by just 2 points. And it's Cody Lakowski, who again, only with 1 race appearance, is cracked up into the top 10 with 25 points.
Yeah, very interesting to see the developments in the championship so far. Obviously, Ben Skinner, touted as one of the championship favorites in the lead up to the season, living up to his name. But one driver has gone under the radar, I feel like, is Christian Glomset, who's up in 2nd. I think most people, when they were talking about Fox Esports leading up into the season, thought that it would be quite equal between himself and Magnus Ockenhaug, or that perhaps Ockenhaug, as the more experienced driver, would take the helm this season. But it seems like those roles in these first 2 rounds have reversed, and he is the driver currently, well, I wouldn't say carrying Fox Esports, but he does have the majority of the points for the English outfit. Philip Chawinski, obviously, touted as well as one of the championship favorites in 3rd currently. Kasper Kur is currently in 5th, but he did have a back of the grid penalty for Melbourne, resulting in a smaller crop of points compared to Suzuka, where obviously he won a race and then I think finished in the top 5 again as well. Cody Nikolakowski missed Melbourne and was there for Suzuka, where he got 2nd, and then after an excursion into Degner on lap 1, crashed in race 2. But yeah, Jonas Corral up there as well, who I personally touted as one of the people who might get overlooked with the strength of the grid up front. And yeah, I mentioned a bit earlier how we could have a good streak of 6 different winners to begin the season. I do think Filip Chawinski, obviously Jonas Korala, Cody Nikolatkovsky, they all have the quality to keep that streak going.
Yep. But of course, Skinner, Kurtz, and Glamsetter will be hoping to become the first repeat race winners as well. So it's going to make the anticipation all the more higher. And of course, a race win in Bahrain could well and truly be influential. But again, the great thing about Bahrain is that it is such an unknown because we have not raced here in such a long time. And even for the people that have raced here for before, like Oakenhag and Lepet, they raced with previous generation Formula Sprint 2 cars, which is quite a bit different to the cars that we have going on now. So everyone's got not really have a baseline. Everyone's starting clean sweep. And as a result, we stand through here. 50 minutes of qualifying going on. Glamsetter, the race 2 winner, is going to be the one that we're right on board with as they start to begin their outlaps and will start to navigate through Bahrain. And a very interesting one to see who could potentially clinch pole position here. I think it's pretty interesting to see. I think Stravinsky might have a very good chance to do it. But as you said, Lakowski has been doing very, very good with the momentum. And here we go. The Norwegian's going to start for his first flying lap. And he's going to navigate all the way down to turn 1. Turn 1 and 2, the switchback coming over through to 3. It's quite difficult to try and get it right. There's various ways to take it, but there's really a fast way to do it. Of course, as we've you and I have discussed before, Lorenzo, you can throw the car around much like a cart, and it does provide its benefits in Bahrain, but also provides that ever so slightly trickiness into it, isn't it?
It does, and I think Kasper Kuritz, you mentioned the throwing around cars. I think Kasper Kuritz put it best when describing these cars as basically carts on steroids, and obviously it does feel like, from what I understand, like throwing it into the turn. And as we saw Christian Glamsetter there, what I was going to say, it does feel like that is the fastest way to take turns in these cars. But I mentioned the lack of grip on this track earlier, and we see Glamsetter struggling with that lack of grip through turn 10 then, through turn 8 as well. And I think that is going to catch quite a lot of people here. And mostly the less experienced people, obviously. You mentioned only 3 drivers on this current grid have driven Bahrain before last time around in FS2. But that doesn't have to mean anything because we have so many skilled drivers on the grid who, even if they're not driven on the track before, they've driven on it, they've practiced it, hopefully, and they're going to know where they're going to lose and where they're going to gain time with the way they drive. The ones who've not done as much practice and who've not got as much experience are going to be the ones that are going to be caught out. And Christian Glomsetter so far doesn't seem to be one of those people, as he was purple in Sector 2, but it's now been decked down. He's gone purple in Sector 3, though, but only good enough for P7 currently, as Kurt Nikolatkovsky shoots up into provisional pole position by 2/10.
Yeah, and very good there. Kurtz and Skinner will follow along through to complete to the top 3 provisionally. Is Thijs Youngstra has been doing very well. We were talking about people that have been under a noise, as Youngstra has been one of them. He's been quietly been a very consistent qualifier, and the Dutchman will continue to do that. Corella still in 5th. Nova McKenna, who's replacing Yo Soplin, is driving for her namesake team, and her appearances in Academy has been pretty phenomenal, and she's translating that into a 6, which is extremely good. Pradis in 8th, La Flamme in for the Academy team, up into 8th, who's done pretty good. Had some experience in R-Factor 2 before, and Glamsetter 9th. Denley completes her through to the top 10. Okenhag just missing out, but Petralia as well, also doing pretty impressively. Victor Bernat punches his ticket up in a 5th.
Yeah, obviously these are all first flying laps for the drivers currently, but we can see already some of the gaps. I mean, the top 11 are all within a second, and then you have all the way going back to, for example, P21 Manamani Kandan is already 2 seconds far away from pole position. So there's quite significant gaps. You can see some of the groups already forming even on these first flying laps, but I do think we'll have a good battle for pole position here in qualifying, and I do think that some of the drivers are already in that top 11 who are already within a second of Nikolatkovsky do have a chance to battle him for that pole position. obviously the Orbit partnership. Faiz Youngster maybe less so, but I think he can still get a top 5. Philip Chomsky, he's still not set a lap, I think. But I do think he's going to be in with a shot as well. There we
Oh,
go.
there we
He's in
go.
the top 5.
Yeah, that was very good there by Savinsky. He was one of the contenders for pole position that I kind of eyed for earlier. Glamsetter's managed to set representative lap time to get himself up into 4th. Courage beats Skinner through to the line, and there you go, improvements coming all around. As Roquai is going to be one of them. He puts the Aquila Racing team into P14 at the moment. Dan Hijack for Emerald driving to 15th, and Anthony Duval, who's another one-off appearance for FS2. I think he's replacing. I think it was one of the. Shimon Kandon, yeah. So that's very good from McManus. To be honest, fantastic. Casper Kerr is purple into the first sector. 8 minutes and 40 to go. I think it's still kind of, even though Lukowski has got about 4/10 of a lead, I think it's still a bit of unknown if he can clinch his first pole position here, because Kurtz and Skinner, as we have seen before in qualifying and in the race, can put something out of their hats.
They can indeed, and obviously, Latkowski does have the quality to clinch that pole position, as you said. But again, as I said before, there's so many other drivers on this grid who also possess that quality, and Casper Kurz is proving it here as well. He's gone purple in Sector 1, green in Sector 2. He did lose that 10th that he gained in Sector 1 by going purple in Sector 2. But I still do think that with a good enough last turn here, he could pull something off, because the sun is setting here in Bahrain during qualifying, and I did watch some of the onboards of drivers taking that final turn, and the sunlight reflecting off of the apex is not quite pleasing to look at.
Oh my word!
And I
yeah,
think
that was
that's
so
what,
close. 500s. It was
Yeah, I think
500s
that
from
might have been.
Lukowski's time. Yeah, that was so close. Sorry apologies for the interruption, but
No,
I
no
was
worries,
just mesmerized by how close it was. But sorry, I'll let you continue on.
I was gonna say that final apex, because it's so hard to look at with the setting sun. Apparently, it could be, but it doesn't necessarily have to be one of the reasons why Kuris was ever so slightly off of Latkovsky. These are so many niches as a driver you have to think of when taking turns and just driving in general, that us two from the booth can't really see unless we get in the car and experience it ourselves. And again, Kuritz, Skinner, they all have the quality to topple Latkovsky today. It's just a question of, will things go entirely right their way, and whether things will go entirely Latkovsky's way as well.
Yeah, that's completely true. About 6 minutes and a half to go. Ben Skinner, a bit of a poor first sector, about 4/10 off. I think that has completely reduced his chances 7/10 off, so I think he can call this lap a dud for the time being. But the way it stands, Lukowski still leads about 500 off Kurtz. If he can improve once more, then we could see him taking a provisional pole away from Lukowski. But still a possibility Lukowski can improve himself to push the Estonian even further away, as he did earlier. Thijs Youngstra coming over through to the final sector. It's been yellow around for him, 2/10 off and then 8/10 off, so I think it must have cost him a little bit of time there for the navigating. We were talking about through 9 and 10, but that has been that will definitely catch a lot of people off. Jonas Kerala, he's gone purple into the first sector. A personal improvement into the second sector. A purple can maybe be enough to get through, and he will take purple, but it's only good enough for third, but it's still 1/10 off from the leader of Lukowski.
Absolutely stunning lap by Jonas Kerala, and I think that's one of the reasons why I touted him as one of the people who's going to be overlooked. He has that quality to be up there, but so many people overlook him. Noah McKenna goes green as well, 48.7. and good enough for 8th, so I think this might be the best qualifying for the Irish outfit so far. 6th and 8th as it stands, with only 5 youngsters in between them. Victor Bernat has improved in Sector 2, but he was quite far off in Sector 1, 2/10 off in fact. Although he looks to have gained them back in Sector 2, will he be good enough for... He goes P5!
Great lap there by Bernat, and potentially a chance for the Spanish driver to go even faster for the Scuderia Freccianera team. A fantastic lap that was. I'm really am surprised just how well that Bernat did. Manamali Kandan continues for his appearance in FS2. He's in 27th at the moment. 4 minutes and 25 left to go. Looking over for Christian Glamsetter. He was at contention for it. He was running as high as top 3, but since the improvements of Bernat and Jonas, Christian has found himself down in 6, but still the highest place of the Fox Esports driver, way too wide out through the second sector, means that he'll probably have to call this lap to a close. And well, luckily he's still got time to either head to the pits or effectively make another run if he wants to do so. Cody Nikolakowski, purple into the middle sector. Is it going to be enough? He's 3/10 slow in the first sector, so I'm not sure if it'll be enough to make an improvement, but that is promising from the North Macedonian driver as a chance that he can go even quicker, and that is definitely what he needs to do to relieve the pressure that Kurtz and Corolla are setting him. Filip Savinski goes across the line. He gets himself up into 6 for McKenna Racing.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Kurt Nikolakowski, I think he might have this in the bag, you know. I feel like he's setting just lap times that, well, not lap times, but sector times that I don't know the exact distance between the fastest sector 2 of Latkovsky and someone like Kurz or Carola, for example. But I do feel like Latkovsky might have this one just about barely in the bag, because can we see what Kurz is doing as Victor Bernat pulls off into the pit lane? Because I don't think Kurz he's only just started his hot lap, so we yet to see what he's going to be able to pull off here. Jonas Carola, he's also out on the track. Is he on a good lap, or is he also just started his hot lap?
Yeah, it's. I think it's been quite an interesting qualifying session here. I think it's. Dare I say, it's the most competitive that we've seen in quite a long while. The margins are quite thin, but Nalkowski can really, I think he just needs to string a lap together and he'll be able to pull away from Kurtz. But Kurtz himself, he can put in a good lap if he can do so. I think a 10th slow into the first sector with won't be an improvement that he'll be looking here for. But with 2 minutes and 20 to go, he will definitely have another run, I think, in my opinion. And yeah, I must say, very, very fun qualifying here, Lorenzo.
Very fun, very competitive. I think everyone on the grid currently, if they go out inside the next 10 seconds, really, are going to have just about, oh well, I think might be just about too late now if they go out of the pit lane to set another lap time. And I think Filip Chawinski, I know he's not going to go in.
Yeah, he knows that. No, he knows that because, as you said, if they enter into the pits, it's going to be too late. 1 minute 47.9, so that's going to be a very quick outlap to try and set another one. So that's why he's elected not to go into the pits. But everyone is going to effectively start through to their final runs. Denley seems to be a personal improvement all across the board. Can he join through his teammate in Duval up to the top 15? And Denley goes through across the line. Is it going to be an all around? And he will follow his teammate and will misplace McKenna. He's into P11.
Very good lap time by Alfie Denley. And he's Ben Skinner in purple sector 1. Apologies to Alfie Denley for not talking about him there. But this is very interesting. Ben Skinner has been quite quiet in this qualifying session so far. He's not been above 3rd, I think, yet. And now he's got a purple sector 1. Oh, bit.
Yeah, you controlled slide. It's a control slide, but we'll see how much damage limitations that Skin can do as they go through to the second. Oh, 8/10. That's just how costly that slide has been. With 40 seconds left to go, I'm not sure if he'll have enough time to if he can set this lap and then do another one, but it'll certainly be close for the Englishman and current championship leader Oakenhag up into the P15 as he displaces Laflamme. He's outside of it now, through to the curb that Skinner's gonna go. The Englishman is going to, yeah, he'll have enough time to do another lap, but just needs to keep for that momentum, and that's all he can possibly do at the moment. Jonas Carola, meanwhile, he's got a purple through to the first sector. The purple sector, well, second sector seems to be a bit costly as well, but unlike Skinner, he will not have enough time to set another lap, so for him it's going to be over and done with. What can the Finnish driver produce out of the final sector? Is it going to be enough for improvement? He's crossed it over through to the third sector, and it's over and done with for the Priority 1 esports driver. Third will be the best that Jonas can do.
That's really unfortunate for the Finnish driver there, and I think he might have not improved enough for P1, but I think he could have challenged Casper Kurz there for P2. Alfie Dunley seems to be challenging for higher than 11th here. The question is whether he can get that hard. He goes into P5.
Wow! Oh my word, that is so impressive from the McManus Motorsports driver. Out of nowhere, with personal improvements throughout all three sectors, into the top 5, the Thai driver goes. Thai youngster will go for across the line. He is just about outside the top 10, and through to the line he goes. He will still remain outside of the top 10. Kurz has gone across the line. Skinner's going for across the line. Everyone has seemed to be across the line. Bernat and Lukowski and Duval are the only ones left on track, and Asabir and Yunt and Slavev. But as it seems to stand, Berna has not gone purple at the first 2 sectors, which means that it seems to be, for the first time ever, Cody Nikolakowski is going to clinch his first pole position here in Formula Sprint 2. The Spanish driver is going to be one of the last drivers to go for across the line here, and will set a representative lap time, but it's no improvement for himself. He will still remain in 6th.
He did set up purple sector 3 though, and another person who set up purple sector is Scott Nikola Lotkovsky with another purple sector 1, although he was yellow in sector 2. I do think he might just be able to improve on his lap time here, maybe? No.
No, he just missed out on it. He just missed out on it. That's so close. By about 200ths off. And if it just managed to get an improvement into the middle sector, then he would have pushed them off even further. But Mansfield clinches their first pole position this season, as Cody Lukowski can call himself a pole sitter for today's race here in the Bahrain International Circuit. Casper Kurz in 2nd place, follows through with Jonas Corrala in 3rd for priority 1. Ben Skinner continues to hold Orbit Motorsports momentum as they're 2 and 4th respectively. Alfie Denley, that's his best qualifying in FS2 for 5th at McManus Motorsports. Victor will be behind him for Frechenera in 6th. Philip Savinsky from McKenna Racing in 7th follows Craig Patterson for priority 1 in 8th. Dan Hijek, a very good qualifying from the Emerald Overdrive driver. He's in 9th, with Christian Glamset rounding off to the top 10. Outside for the top 10, Tice Youngster for Emerald Overdrive follows with Hijack 9 and 11 respectively. Nova McKenna's done pretty well as she's in 12th. Magnus Ockenhag for Fox Esports in 13th. Anthony Duval for his FS2 debuts in 14th. Beats Justin van der Smissen in 15th. Axel Laflamme is the highest of the GPVWC Academy outfit in 16th, follows with James Rockway for Aquila Racing in 17th. Leila Petrelli follows for Hunter Birch Simulation's best qualifying for performance this year in 18th, with Eamon Asabir for Elkins National in 19th, and Amir Hazik for Hot Performance Engineer rounds off for the top 20. 21st goes to David Yunt for Aquila Racing, follows through with Ricardo Busani for Camera Racing Team, the highest of the Japanese outfit. Linus Lepet for Hunt Performance Engineers in 23rd, follows through behind with Samuel Slava for HCO in 24th. Rafael Urham in Camera Racing is 25th, follows through with Eric Brenner for Hunter Birch in 26th. Cordian Krisminski for GPWC Academy's 27th, with Manomani Kanda for Frechenera in 28th. Hansko Amibis for ST Racing follows with his teammate in Mihailo Vicentievich as they're 29th and 30th respectively for ST Racing. And that completes our 30-car grid for today's race.
Yeah, meaning that after this exciting qualifying, we're still missing 2 drivers in, if I am correct, Elk International's Mika Hakimi and VMS Soned's David De Vrij. So obviously not a full grid today, but still a good turnout, obviously, with 30 drivers. And I think that was arguably the best qualifying we've had this season so far. Oh, well, not arguably, I think that objectively is the best qualifying we've had this year so far. Because, I mean, who could have anticipated someone like Alfie Denley being in P5 after a fairly quiet Suzuka where... Oh, well, I say fairly quiet Suzuka. I am fairly certain that he did have a... Yeah, he finished 23rd and DNF'd, so obviously amazing turnaround there for someone who in the server was fairly critical of the track to go and qualify in the top 5 is, I feel like, something only Alfie Denley could do, really.
I mean, yeah, it's. I think he's done pretty good this season thus far, but top 5 qualifying performance like that is just so honestly impressive, and it's yeah, it's very good to see McManus Motorsports. I think they've had a bit of a struggle as well through to the start of the season, but even though they scored points, so this will give them a bit of life injected into the team to propel themselves upwards into that midfield battle. So yeah, so that is so that's qualifying done for 15 minutes, and we've got 17 laps of the feature race, 13 laps of the sprint to go. But until then, we've got a quick 10-minute warm up, and I've actually been doing a little bit of research for the Bahrain International Circuit, and by that I mean just looking on their website. What was it? They called themselves the greatest, not the greatest, it was like the best Middle East motorsport venue in the Middle East. And to be honest with you, that is quite hard to disprove, because I definitely think Bahrain is amongst the best motorsport venues in the Middle East, in my opinion. Because I think it's, I don't know, there's just something that Bahrain touches you that Dubai Autodrome cannot, or Yas Marina, or such.
Or Jeddah.
Or Jeddah. Remco also said or Jeddah as well, so...
No, that wasn't
yeah,
Remco, that was me.
I know. Yeah, Remco also messaged me or Jeddah, so I was like...
Nah.
Wait, is Jeddah more popular than Bahrain here? Really?
I can't see Jeddah.
I've been told from Remco and to my left here, Bahrain sucks. And I guarantee probably why he says it is because of turns 9 and 10. If turns 9 and 10 just did not exist, then everyone will just agree that Bahrain is probably one of the better circuits. But I digress. I think that's just his FS1 driver instance kicking in. That's why I'm not driving FS2.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can make that argument for any given track on the planet. If turns X and Y didn't exist on track Z, then it would be the best track on the planet. This is just nitpicking, really.
Yeah, so that's pretty.
However, having said that, there's way too many X, Ys, and Zs on Jeddah for it to be even fathomed as a possible candidate for the best Middle Eastern track.
I think often at times, like, oh boy, there's just I think the Middle East definitely has seen like a big, huge uprising in motorsports, but I think Bahrain International Circuit has definitely been the one that has sort of capped it all in 2004. I think it was, I was going to say it was like a track unlike any other, but the fact is, it was the second or third of its kind. Shanghai, Sakhir came first, then Shanghai second, and then it was Bahrain that came through in third. But I think unlike all the other tracks, this one was in, how I say this, it was in the desert, and I don't know how the mind can't comprehend that. Just how different. I think it introduced just a whole new brand of motorsport racing, unlike what we've seen before, because this is what brings to the the humidity and the heat intensity. I'm just seeing through. Sorry. Oh no. Sorry. Apologies to the viewers. I'm just seeing through Remco's comments on Bahrain. God damn it.
Yeah, no, I mean, Bahrain's a good track, don't get me wrong, but I mean, what other candidates are there for like the best track in the Middle East that can be utilized for most, if not all, types of cars and bikes as well? Because you take something like Losail, for example, that is a really good track for something like MotoGP. But the F1 races there have been quite dull. I think that is universally agreed on in the motorsport community, that the F1 races at Losail have been dull. But the MotoGP races, for example, are quite good from what I've seen and heard. So Bahrain has enough layouts to host various different series and to do it well, because F1 has been quite good, endurance events have been quite good. I'm not quite sure if there's any sort of like WSBK or MotoGP events happening at Bahrain, but
no, I don't think there is. There's usually V8s. What was it? Grand Prix 2 in Asia. The GT championships for the FIA used to hold in, what was it, the noughties. And as you said, WEC used to hold still holds the 8 hours, but then they were also held the 12 hours as well. I think that was, I can't remember that was, oh no, that's just International GT Challenges. My word, whenever you come to think of it, Bahrain seems to be the circuit Paul Ricard of the Middle East. And that definitely did not enrage a lot of people, but I take every word for it, and if you don't, then well, too bad. But yeah, it's well, what can I say? 3 minutes and 30 left to go. I'm still trying to. I'm still trying to like browse through the website, for goodness sakes. Uh, this is just an absolute mess.
Whoa!
And,
what was that?
that was something.
Rear wing? Whose rear wing was that? Who's that up in front of Eunice Carroll? Can we see? Oh, they without a rear wing.
Why is there terms and conditions in the website of Bahrain?
I could not tell you. I've never gone on the Bahrain International Circuit website. Amir.
2026.
Whoa!
Okay.
The floodlights are going on. That.
You sound like a kid. Formula One Gulf Air Bahrain Grand Prix 2026. With the Formula One Aramco pre-season testing 2026. Yeah, unfortunately with that, Formula One's not racing here in 2026 for unfortunate real-life reasons. So with that, just wish everyone safe in that region. And yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. I think the last time Bahrain has not actually been in the F1 calendar was back in 2011. But as I've said, it's effectively been a mainstay throughout most of F1 since it was in 2004. Of course, it's been under the floodlights since 2014. That's allowed it easier for not only European audiences to tune in, but also it takes a lot of stress out of the drivers as well, because Bahrain used to host, I think, 3 of the 5 hottest races in F1 history, and that was in, broad daylight as well. It's like in the midst of the extreme heat. I think that's partially why Remco hates Bahrain so much as well, because he has to be exposed to sunlight.
Remco is not pleased with that comment. For anyone wondering.
Getting called the Paul Ricard of the Middle East is saying you're versatile but still a downy.
What?
That's what. Chat, we need your help. Please type your honest opinions of the Bahrain International Circuit, and I will read for every single one of them. Whether if you defend mine or agree with Lorenzo or Remco's.
Don't commit to that statement. Don't commit to that statement.
We're having a goddamn debate in this warm up, and I don't care if you enjoy it or not.
Don't commit to saying that you're gonna read out every single one. You don't know what they're gonna say in the YouTube chat,
Okay, but I'll tell you what they do. I tell you what they do say in the chat. They said DeVries trying to join, but has problem with the files to join the race server. That has been unfortunate. I know DeVries has been. Oh, he's in! Hooray! We've got 31 drivers. Way! That's fantastic.
Where's Mika Hakimi? We are missing still Mika Hakimi.
We don't talk about that. Shh. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm definitely not the Elk International team boss. I need to be as impartial as I possibly can. No bias whatsoever. Why is Elk International such a poorly run team, SMH? Warm up has concluded, and Lukowski. Warm up has concluded, and oh my word, I was practicing my commentating before the race, and I saw the drivers do a bit of practice race, and I must say, Lorenzo, that that practice race has already made me lose some of my lost my throat already, and 17 laps has not even begun yet, and yeah, that's just all I gotta say. If what we have seen even mimics what happened in the practice races, then I think we're going to be in for, shall we say, a bit of a roller coaster.
If the actual races are anything like the practice races, then I feel like I'm going to throw up on stream from laughter. Because for anyone who's not in the GPVWC server, which, by the way, if you aren't, please do join. We would love to have you on board in our community. But there was a clip from one of the practice races where Casper Kuris just bins it into turn 8 and does some wee bowling, and the audio you can hear of him just screaming might be one of the funniest things I've ever seen, just in general this year. So,
And that's going into the GPVWC iceberg, as no one outside of GPVWC would probably ever know. But yeah, I was also testing the overlay as well, and the overlay works as pristine as ever. Of course, I think that might be getting a change some point soon. Not sure if it's midway through the season or such, but yeah, it's meant to be. Remco told me the overlay sucks, so apologies for that. But I think there was going to be new overlay cooking soon. TM we'll have new information and new graphics and whatever the bejigs happens. Warm up over. Everyone's done for their practices. Everyone is going to head back into the garage, and we're slowly going to get ourselves ready and prepared for 17 laps of the feature race. Well, might as well, since we're here, do you have any predictions for what might happen?
We might get another new winner in this
Please
season
don't say
in
no.
one of the races. I'm not going to say who. I'm just saying we might get a new winner in one of the races this season. Who is going to be? I've got no clue. But I think that's my prediction for today's rounds. And one thing we failed to mention in warm-up was that Riccardo Bassani and Samuel Slavov do have back of the grid penalties. So even though they had qualified quite low, they are going to be starting from the furthest back row on the grid.
Sun is starting to set here in the Bahrain International Circuit, with just a few short moments away from the start of the feature race for what is the third round of Formula Sprint 2. Grid is slowly starting to line up all their teams, and all of their drivers have their preparations fulfilled. That's going to be interesting to see. Lukowski gets his first pole position in what is his second race appearance here today. Casper Kurz would join for alongside him. It's almost exactly like the duel that has started in Suzuka Race 1 carries through to Bahrain. And if what we have seen in Suzuka was interesting, then oh boy, Bahrain, with all of its amazing characteristics, it's going to be something of a treat for us, ladies and gentlemen. Lukowski is going to be the driver that will start through to the formation lap, and with such, we'll go over through the graphics for today's starting grid. The North Macedonian holds on to P1, follows with Casper Kurtz in second place. Jonas Karla aiming for his first win, follows through with Ben Skinner, the championship leader, holds on to row 2. Through onto 5, it is Alfie Danley for McManus, one of his best qualifying performances, follows with Victor Burnett in 6th. Philip Savensky for McKenna Racing is in 7th. Craig Patterson joins alongside him to complete for row 4. Through to row 5, it's Dan Hijek for Emerald Overdrive, follows with Christian Glamsetter for Fox Esports in 10th. Tice Youngstra is in for 11th, with Nova McKenna on her FS2 debut is in 12th, well, in 2026. Magnus Ockenhag for Fox is in 13th, with Anthony Duval, who's promoted up to P14. Justin van der Smissen for VMS Sun Edits is in P15. Axel Laflamme could get points here for Academy as he's in 16th. James Rookway for Killer Racing 17th. Leila Petrelli is in 18th. Eamon Asabir for Elk International is 19th. And Mir Hazik for Hub Performance Engineering is over in P20. And then through over to row 11, David Yunt for Killer Races 21st. Jonas Lepit for Hunt Performance Engineers 22nd. Rafael Urham for Camera Racing's 23rd, with Eric Brown for Hunter Simulation is 24th. According for GPVWC Academy is 25th, with Mani Kanden for Frechenera 26th. Hanskil Mebis and Mihailo Vicentievich is an OST Racing row 14. Riccardo Brasani and Samuel have both received back of the grid penalties. They'll be 29th and 30th respectively. David De Vries, since he did not attend qualifying, he has to start from the pits.
Yeah, I think it's going to be quite an interesting race. You mentioned that the battle that had started and went on through Suzuka Race 1 is going to carry over into Bahrain Race 1. And it will be interesting to see if that does happen, because lining up wise, Cody and Casper are right alongside each other, but we've seen people have quite slow starts before in FS2 and just in all series in general. It could happen to one or both of them here, and then one of Jonas Kaudala or Ben Skinner can get in front and run away with it. We just don't know what's going to happen. I think, I'm excited to see what's going to happen, actually.
15 corners to navigate here for the Bahrain International Circuit. It's been 2 long years of an absence that we've had. Last time we raced here was all the way back in 2023. And after that, we've been eyeing and waiting for an opportunity to race back here at this marvelous venue. Cars have changed. The drivers have changed. The teams have changed. It is really, truly the sign of a new era here in GPVWC. Who will emerge victorious here for race 1 in the Bahrain Grand Prix for FS2? The lights will be coming on at any moment.
We can't see them.
The lights are off and we're underway. Poor start there from Lukowski. Is that going to allow for Corolla to get up through? He's got a fantastic start. Casper Curtis is going to join alongside him, and they're going to go side by side heading into turn 1 at the moment. Casper holds onto the inside line. Can defeat for Lukowski. Lukowski does get beaten by Casper and has to worry about Corolla, but he just about edges Corolla a little bit out. Coming out for turn 3. Now down to one of the first stretches. That was someone going, that was one of the pit ones I was going over. Lukowski tries to look around for the outside, coming over for turn 4. Corolla gets tagged and Corolla spins round, and disaster for the Party 1 esports driver. A bit of a mishap there going for the back there from Denley and Bernat, but at the minute it is Curtis that leads. 4:10 he leads from Lukowski and Skinner. Absolute carnage down in the background as someone that's lost their front wing. I think that was Leila Petrelli, I believe, which is unfortunate because she started extremely well in qualifying, but unfortunately the race has to continue on. And a bit of a contact there by Savinski up against Hijack, but still his front wing remains at the moment.
Yeah, that was a very, very chaotic start. We saw immediately off the line there was James Schrocker in the background, who just was a wheel spin that made him spin off. Oh, that's very aggressive defending from Magnus Åkenhaug there on Craig Patterson. We know these two have a friendly rivalry going on, but if moves like that persist from the Norwegian driver, it could turn a bit more ugly here. But luckily, no one was affected from that move. There was no contact made. But obviously we see James Schrocker now in P31 and last position. He did spin immediately starting off of the grid, and then we saw Jonas Kaudala try and force a move on the inside of Nikola Letkowski from way back, and it did not work. Oh, as we saw a thing that was done, that was FaZe Youngstra in the background going over the curb, and there's someone spinning in the background. There's more people in the background piling up, and there's something happening in the final turn.
Yeah, that's everyone just going a bit too wide through 14 and 15, and the people have made for to the pit stops. Asabir has lost his front wing, and that's another driver as well. Urham has retired, and it's just absolute carnage already, and it's already just been lap 1. Eric Brenner on board with him, trying to tag along through Slavev as they're going to go side by side through turns 2 and turn 3. Almost hectic there going over Vicente, which has to take evasive action on the exit out from 3, and that will gain Brenner an extra place as he's going to make his move pass through Slavev. He's going to try and aim for it, but the Mapes Rio driver holds on through and just keeps his composure. The Bulgarian just about slips off a little bit for turn 4. You could just see how hard it is for these drivers to keep their cars going straight in this Bahrain circuit.
It is on to see Barana going quite wide there through the S's, and he might have thought of a move down the inside of Samuel Slavev there, but it was not going to be on. He might think of something through turns 9 and 10 here, but it's not going to be on. He's just not quite got enough of a gap here. As Slavev goes wide out of turn 10, and that allows Brenner to go through at the moment. Slavev is going to slot in behind. He's not going to have DRS here because he was in front of Brenner, but Brenner is still not running away with it. Slavev might think of a move, then no, he backs out. He's going to try and do something on the front straight, or Brenner can just go wide and allow Slavev through back again.
Yeah, unfortunate for Brenner. Almost a very good overtake though, but one Mapes Rio target we follow for another. Lukowski all over to the back of Kurtz, who will have the DRS here. DRS enabled on this lap. Again, the gap is about 7/10, and Lukowski has got a chance to make the move up against the Estonian. It's going to be super close to see who's going to have it. He's going to take over through to that line, which is quite brave, and makes it work, and is going to hopefully try and fend off from Casper, but Casper looks over through. He's trying to Stadami Lukowski through to turn 1, but Lukowski calls his bluff and makes a gap extend it just a little bit on the exit out for turn 3. Now it's Curtis's time to have the DRS. He's going to try and get another race 1 win here. The Orbit Motorsports driver looks to the outside line coming over through turn 4, and they're still going to be going side by side between Maestro and Orbit, but oh my goodness, Casper goes a little bit wide, and this is going to be still going side by side through to the S's. Curtis swings right for the outside for turn 6. Fantastic FS2 racing. Casper holds on to the lead.
Fantastic racing by the pairing of Curtis and Latkowski there, and that's just what you love to see, fair and clean and sportsmanship racing there. And all of this fighting has allowed Ben Skinner to catch up to the pairing of Curtis and Latkowski, so there could be some team play here between the two Orbit drivers. Curtis could be now holding up Latkowski to allow Ben Skinner to pass through and to get into the 1-2 place for the Bulgarian outfit as Latkowski tries and make a move into turn 11. He does make his stick so far. They're still side by side, going uphill. Latkowski gets into the front of Kuritz, and as it stands, Latkowski is in the lead again.
Beautiful move there by Latkowski. Super late move into turn 11, although a little bit of a twitch on the exit out of 13 might give Casper all the momentum that he needs into the start finish straight into turn 1, but still the racing will continue. And as you said before, Ben Skinner's on the background there, eyeing for something. Could potentially be a team play here, but it's a big unknown for us to see how it's going to happen. Casper Curtis is behind as Latkowski is so close, and will have the DRS, will surely make the move. Ben Skinner will also have the DRS as well, but won't make, I don't think is close enough to make the move. Latkowski immediately falters down from behind with the slipstream though, and not close enough to make the move. Casper will take it through to the lead, and it's Cody in second place. Ben Skinner still making gap after gap, just slowly closing in. He's still into third, but further back down, Hijack made the overtake on Alfie Denley. He's into fourth now, and we've got Alfie Denley now under pressure from Bernat and from Cervinski.
Yeah, Alfie Denley has been quite strong in this race so far, holding on to that P4 for 4 laps now, but he's been overtaken by Dan Hayek now, and now he's starting to look towards the back slowly as opposed to the front, and he's held that train up for quite a long time now. Look at the gap between Hayek and Skinner, it's nearly 3 seconds. Actually no, it's a full second, almost 2, as Danley has held that train for quite a long time now. And I think he's still going to get points. It's just a question of whether he'll be able to hold on to that top 5. As look at how much more speed Bernat is carrying compared to Denley there through turns 9 and 10.
Absolutely, but I think it's the exit that really matters the most. And Bernat, knowing that he's the slipstream and the DRS, he could just throw it into 9 and 10 and hope that for the straight come through 10 and 11 that it'll make up for it. And it is paying off a little bit for Bernat. And we've got a lot of replays to go through, especially from what happened in lap 1. So this is what happened with Corrala, and a bit of a tag there from Latkowski, and just completely turns him in the wrong direction. That was one of the Academy cars going sideways, I think, completely on their own, or in a separate incident, and unfortunately that's what allowed for Corrala to be completely on their own. So there's Petrali, and that's I think Lepe, I believe. It's La Flamme that was gone sideways as well. Unfortunate there for his debut, did really well in the Academy, and got tagged around by, I think that is Aukenhag. As a result from that, and you can just see the carnage that unleashed. That was that was Manamana Kandan. Yeah, he lost it on his own, collected someone, and that's how the whole sort of carnage effectively ensued. And yeah, he just tries to keep it straight, couldn't do it, tags Layla and one of the performance cars, and yeah, it's I know it wasn't intentional, but just didn't have the space to control the car, and unfortunately caught a lot of people with it. So yeah, that's just not a great way to really start the race in that sense, but everyone seems to be, well, apart from Urim, the race does continue on as Manny Kandan applying the pressure onto the Seoul Alk International car. Both of them have made through to their pit stops as he goes wide. Holds on through. We'll have the DRS to challenge the Italian into turn 1. Still at 5 out of 17. Curtis still leads. Lukowski in second. Ben Skinner, I think, is nearly coming out of the DRS range, just about, and that could be pretty alarming for the Englishman and the championship contender, because Curtis can well and truly challenge that though. But look at this, Denley and Hijack are going to go side by side through to the second sector, approaching through to the third. Both of them need to worry about Bernat though in the background, who's been still licking his lips and eyeing for an opportunity to the top 5. as they're now going to go through to the last straight. Bernat is the one that's going to bite the bullet. He's going to try and look for an overtake down through to turn 40-50, but has to worry about Savinski behind, and he decides he's not close enough to make the overtake and has to filter into a wow. I'm just amazed. I'm so amazed. Oh my word, that was someone gone off.
Has someone gone off in the background? I was not focusing because there is a four-way battle here for P4 as it stands. Alfie Danley moves back up into P4 on Dan Hayek. Victor Bernard looks to take P5 as well from Dan Hayek. He might be able to do so here. He has the inside line, but now Hayek has the inside line. Victor Bernard has to slot back in behind, and the Spaniard is licking his lips, as he said here. He's had a poor first 2 rounds. This P5 would bring wonders to his confidence and to his point tally.
Yeah, Savinski tries to look over through to turn 4 and 5, and Kurz and Lukowski were fighting a little bit in the foreground. Bardenchen still through to there. Bernat still doing his best to fend off from Savinski, but Savinski sees an opening through turn 7, but Bernat denies him, coming over through to 8, and it's still going to be the way it stands. It is still deadly hijack. Bernat and Savinski still the way it has been for the start of the lap, and my word, that was so close. But I was looking up for ahead. Lukowski and Kurz had a little bit of a battle side by side into turns 1 and turns 4, and Casper is the one that will still lead at the moment, still up 6 out of 17, and the fight is still going to continue to go on and on. This fight has already been even better than Suzuka because it's gone on for such a long period of time.
It is indeed, and Ben Skinner, as we said, has fallen off quite a bit from the pairing here. He did catch back up, but now he's further back again. He's well outside of, he's no man's land currently as it stands. He's got a 1.5 second gap to the car in front and 1 second gap to the car behind. So he's just driving his race, biding his time. What he needs, because we touted him as a championship contender, what he needs is consistency to get that championship. And he's doing that so far. Nikola Lutkovsky, though, looking for a move on Kasper Kuris. He will have him here with the DRS and slipstream. He will have the inside line for turn 1 as well. But Kuris he might look for here.
That was so close! A dummy move there by Kurz. He almost looked like he was going to concede, but instead tried to retaliate, and that definitely put Lukowski a bit out of his element, and this could be the opening that Kurz is going to be looking for down into turn 4. Surely will make the move, but look at this, Lukowski's going to aim for the switchback, and they're going to continue fighting for the S's once again, side by side between Mayfield and Orbit. Oh my word, so close, and Kurz once again through turn 6 makes the move to hold on to the lead, and that has been such a close fight and a game of chess that we have just witnessed, as Casper a little bit too wide for the curves means that he's going to be a bit under pressure through to turns 9 and 10, but he still keeps hold of his cool though.
He does, but he was a bit loose through turn 8 there, so it could be his tires starting to feel the effects of this battling between himself and Lutkovsky. Lutkovsky might be feeling it as well slowly, and we said Ben Skinner has been quite distant from the pairing here. He has closed the gap down ever so slightly. It was 1.6 seconds before, now it's down to 1.2, 1.3. Although going through, it seems like he's done a mistake because he's lost all the time he's gained here. So, yeah, again, if these two continue battling, then Skinner might be able to catch back up again and capitalize on it potentially. If he's lucky enough, get a win.
Yeah, Casper and Lukowski. Lukowski looks down into the inside through turn 14. Sheer commitment by there. Is that going on? Casper got off. Casper has gone off, but as the join in through behind, he's going to keep trying his best to apply the pressure onto Lukowski, using for the slipstream. Lukowski go off the DRS, but won't matter. The slipstream just is actually more important than the DRS here. And Casper side by side into turn 1. They're going to be battling now continuously once again through to turn 1, coming on for turn 2, right out for the exit out for turn 3. Lukowski's time down the DRS. Further on back, Savinski and Bernat are going to be side by side. Savinski a chance to get an overtake, and he manages to do it through. But Cordes and Lukowski still going to be going side by side on the approach through to turn 4, and Bernat gonna look at the Savinski defends brilliantly to hold on through to P6. My goodness me!
Great battling here between Bernat and Chawinski. I mean, we said Bernat is looking to improve on his first 2 rounds with some more points, and he's doing so at the moment, but Chawinski, obviously touted as one of the championship contenders, he needs as many positions as he can gain to stay in that contention, stay in that battle. because currently he's not doing as much as he would love to stay in that battle. He's only P6 at the moment, and his first 2 rounds, although really good, weren't that good. He's currently third in the standings, but he's 25 points off of Ben Skinner. So he's going to need as many positions here as he can, because race 1 this season brings more points than race 2.
Yeah, absolutely. And the sprint race, that's going to be 13 laps. It's a bit of a roulette to see how well Stravinsky can do. Again, it's the top 10 to, it's the P10 to P15 that gets reverse pull, so he's kind of outside of that. He's just going to be in the midst of the midfield in both races, the way it turns out, and this is going to be pretty unfortunate there. Bar attention up ahead through here. Lap 8 out of 17 though. Lukowski makes the move onto Kasper Kurtens and will make an overtake once again for the start-finish straight. How will the Estonian respond this time round? He's going to look for the outside through turn 1 this time. He's going to maybe eye for a longer advantage for turns 2 and 3 with that longer one, or maybe invite Ben Skinner into it. Ben Skinner has still been a little bit out of it, but the gap has sort of equalized a little bit if you've come to think about it. And Ben Skinner, more importantly, has not been fighting. So he's been preserving his tires more than Lukowski and Kurtz has. So is this a sign that the Englishman could be playing the long game here and maybe capitalizing at the very last minute?
He could be. But looking back now, currently away from the battle for the lead at the moment, there's a massive battle for the final points here. 14th to 15th, Axel Flam. He was quite impressive in qualifying for the Academy team, and he was impressive in the Academy series as well at Suzuki last week. Currently 17th, battling with Jonas Kaurala. If he can pull off an upset here against a driver who started as one of the best on the grid and beating for points, he could be putting himself as quite a big name on the market. And I think he'll love points on debut in FS2 as well. And he seems very close here. He does a dive bomb. Oh, there's contact.
Yeah, a bit of contact there. Pretty opportunistic move there by Laflamme, but he's managed to make the move. And as you said, overtakes Jonas for P17. And quite an important statement to make in the Academy car park. Corella certainly is going to try to respond. Contact! And the priority one in the Academy car. Both go sideways. Corella, once again comes off worst of it, and he finds himself 180 degrees the other way for the second time this time in the Bahrain Grand Prix, and it's disaster for the Finnish driver.
It's been such an unlucky race for Karel, this race 1 at Bahrain, but at the same time it does look like he's making his own luck with those dive bombs, and one person who doesn't need to resort to such dive bombs is Kasper Kurtz.
I almost thought Lukowski was going to make an inside move into turn 1, a page out of Kasper's book, but didn't have quite the speed to make it work though. Lap 10 out of 17, still got quite a handful of laps left to go. The race is surely coming a little bit onto its close, but the fighting between Kurtz and Lukowski still goes on. It's still been going on since lap 1. It's been the longest fight that I've ever commentated on.
And it doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon either. Even though they're wasting their tires away battling each other, Ben Skinner has now joined the fight. And we mentioned he doesn't seem to be pushing as hard, he's just sticking...
Oh my goodness! That was pretty hectic there. Denley has dropped 2 positions as a result. Hijack and Bernat both overtake him. Stravinsky is also trying to eye a position as well. But I was just seeing the timing screen switching between Hijack, Bernat, and Denley. So it was a complete trifecta fight that we were seeing on the first sector come through to the second sector. But at the moment, it is the Czech Republic driver of Hijack in 4th, Bernat the Spanish in 5th, and Denley the Thai driver in 6th. With Stravinsky, he's still outside, but he's still posing a major threat in 7th. As I just see a yellow flag, that was Slavov. Yeah, he's dropped off big time. He's gone over to P20, and he's completely dropped off for the timing board. Super unfortunate there, but tension still up ahead between... Oh, never mind. Oh my word, he's crabbing heavily. Very heavily. That's coming through turn 9 and 10. So I'm wondering if he must have lost it in that downhill section, which again, extremely hard to get right.
It was in turns 9 and 10 where he was affected by whether it was a mistake of his own, or whether it does look like to be a mistake that he made on his own. What exactly?
Yeah, it does seem to be. It does just way too wide out from the track, and does rejoin. I'm surprised how much crabbing he suffered because of the...
Oh, no.
Goodness, that was close. Nearly collected, I think that was Craig, or no, that was Corolla. And I'm still surprised just how much damage he took, because he only managed to hit his rear wheel, but I didn't think it was going to be that much, though. Actually, speaking of which, Curtis has dropped about 4/10, I think. So the fight has slowly gave a bit of breathing room for Lakoski a bit for the moment. But look at that. That gap has increased. Usually their gap would be about 3 or 4/10, but now it's come over to about 5 or 6/10 now. So this could be signs that Curtis's tires are kind of dying. But it's also, again, inviting Ben Skinner more and more.
You say that it's inviting Ben Skinner. I feel like at this point, you mentioned Curtis's tire wear, and I mentioned Curtis's tire wear. Skinner, we mentioned his tire wear as well. I think at this point, with 7 laps to go, almost 6, it could be teamwork coming into play here. I think Curtis might be trying to work with Skinner now to try and catch up to Cody. Both of them get past him, and then they try and run away. But whether that'll work or not, I think it remains to be seen, because Curtis is still closer to Latkowski than Skinner is to Curtis. So again, there's a massive train in the back again that we've been mentioning quite a lot on and off. Alfie Denley has fallen behind Philip Chawinski, and Christian Glomsetter looks to take a bit of that pie as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see Bernat as well doing his best to defend and making a bit of a snake of sorts. Savinsky and Denley going to be going side by side through once again down to turn 1. Savinsky's look to the inside line, but you can see for the back, Glamsetter maybe trying to look over for free wide. He won't do it at the moment. Savinsky does his best to fend off for P6. Denley keeps it on through for turn 3, and this puts him off in a really bad position. Glamsetter could be the driver to capitalize Denley's misfortunes here. He'll have for the DRS coming over through to turn number 4, and he's going to try and commit to it. He half committed, and he saw the door closing from Denley and just lifts off for the throttle to back off for the moment. He's still got a bit of time in his hands to get that position off from Denley, and well, luckily from Glamsetter, he's in the midst of a snake after all. That hijack leads! Bernat guns wide through turn 8!
That was a big mistake from Bernat, and he might lose a position here to Philip Chawinski because he's closed so much, and he will have DRS down this back straight. So whether Chawinski manages to do something here, as Latkowski has been passed as well.
Yeah, he's getting passed as well by Casper, but look how close Ben Skinner has been. Latkowski's going to try and hold it on through for turn 11, coming over for turn 12, approaching over down for turn 13, running the board with Ben Skinner. Latkowski commits over for turn 13. Real big commitment there by the North Macedonian driver, and it makes it work. The Macefield driver makes it work, and now he has to go in the defensive. Ben Skinner using for the slipstream. Orbit goes side by side, approaching over for turn 14 and 15. 3 wide. Skinner makes the overtake on Casper, and he gets himself up into P2, his first overtake in a very long while. And now Latkowski has found himself in a position where he has to defend himself from 2 Orbit Motorsport drivers here, and the Macefield driver is going to do his absolute best, but Ben Skinner now holding on for to the outside line. Casper is going to try to look to the inside line. 3 wide down to turn 1. Who will come out on top? Going to go side by side. Skinner lefts off of the photo earlier. Casper goes and cuts on through for turn 2, and he makes it work. Casper once again takes for the lead.
That's amazing racing we're seeing here from this top 3, and Latkowski doesn't seem to be done here. Still has DRS.
He's going to try and look over for turn 4, but Casper does his best to defend. My goodness me, still intense action going on here. Lap 13 out of 17. A handful of laps left to go, and Casper and Latkowski and Skinner have no signs of slowing down whatsoever.
Oh, I mean, why would they slow down? They're all battling for the lead here. And, I mean, it's anyone's race here. I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. This racing is amazing. And it's anyone's race here between these 3. Unless something tragical happens to one or all 3 of them. Skinner does have DRS on Latkowski here, but Latkowski has DRS off of Curtis as well. And it does like Latkowski has peeled away further from Skinner, but not enough to attack the Estonian driver into turn 11. They're still all close, all bunched up together, and I think Latkowski might be close enough to try and make another move into turn 1 here. As it stands, 2 times between the Estonian and North Macedonian, and 3 times between the North Macedonian English driver and Ben Skinner, although that seems to be rising currently for, I mean, you'd think with Skinner being in slipstream he'd be closer, but no, he's dropped off about half a tenth there. But this is the main bit here. I think this is the main bit here.
Yeah, I think so. He's trying to eye for something. We're seeing something that we're not. Bastani up a place, McKenna up a place. Duval has been dropping, but still the attention. Lukoski looks over for to the outside of turn one once again. Ben Skinner will have the DRS, and he has to do his best to defend himself. He can see himself right back into the middle of the track, and the Orbit drivers are going to go side by side down for turns 1 and 2. They want this lead as much as Lukoski does. Right down for the exit of turn 3. Casper will have for the DRS. Skinner will have the DRS. Lukoski, no DRS in sight. Has to do his best to defend for turn 4. Holding into the inside line, but Casper's going to swing it around through to the outside. Skinner could be making it going 3 wide. He takes through to the wide line, through to 5, through to 6, still side by side for the 3rd time in a row. They make contact. Casper goes off. He rejoins ahead. Skinner going to do his best to make the overtake, but look at this. Lukoski going to look down for the inside, make contact a little bit once again. Casper just unfortunately drops down 2 places as a result from 2 collisions with Lukoski.
Oh, there's been quite a bit of contact between all 3 of them here. There was contact between... Oh, no!
Oh, my goodness! Oh, my goodness me! Lukoski almost loses it from contact with Kurtz!
Oh, it's all going down here. They just banged wheels, the 2 Orbis there as well, Skinner and Kurtz. Lukoski moves over to defend from the both of them, and Skinner lets Kurtz through. Or whether that was just a good move, we don't even know anymore. We don't know.
He's going to try looking for a switchback, I thought, almost for turns 12 and 13, but was not going to be. Casper still holds on to lead for the Orbit pair at the moment, and you can see how well Orbit are working together to try and take the lead up from Lukoski. But also fantastic racecraft there from Lukoski. That has been truly the shines of someone that has been in sim racing for a very, very long time, and it's the reason why he's won multiple competitions in the process from defending like that. Further back over, Hijack and Bernat are going to be still going in their own duel for P4. Right on the exit, the Spanish driver is going to try and utilize the slipstream, trying to utilize the DRS. Any advantage that Bernat can possibly do, he will take advantage of it against Hijack. And here he goes, he's going to go side by side, heading over to turn 1, going to use to the inside line. And he makes the move before it sticks. And look at this. Super close there. Furry defense with Hijack, a little bit of contact, but Bernat will get up through the 4th. Lukoski and Curtis exchange positions once again, but still Lukoski leads, heading over down through to turn 4. Curtis going to do his best to defend. He takes the lead momentarily, has through to the outside line, so close there. But he loses it, and Lukoski loses the lead to Casper once again. 2 laps left to go.
2 laps left to go indeed, and this is, again, we've said it so many times, amazing battling from all of the drivers involved here, but again, it's anyone's race here. We don't know who is going to win here. The gaps are actually starting to increase between Kurtz and Lukoski. Look at it, it's over a second. I don't think Lukoski is going to have DRS, but it's not going to be as strong because it's so far back. He's not going to have as strong of a slipstream. Skinner might make a move here.
He might make the move. He dummies him, he lets back off on the throttle. He's not going to try and make the overtake now. He's going to look for it later. And that is, well, quite a statement there by Ben Skinner, the current championship leader. He knows he can just a bit bide his time. Yellow flag into the 2nd sector. We haven't had a yellow flag in quite a long while. This has been fantastic racing here at the return to the Bahrain International Circuit. But Curtis seems to have the lead, and with about 3 laps left to go, could well and truly cement it. Bernat and Hijack, Servinsky and Denley are still worming around, as you can see in the background, as they are still jostling for positions for outside of the podium places. But my word, this has been a fantastic battle there. And as Casper Kurtz, Lukoski and Skinner goes for across the line, it will now be 2 laps left to go, and it's going to be all 4 to play for here. Who can become? We've got Lukoski, who's yet to win a race. We've got Skinner and Kurtz, who could become a repeat race winner. Kurtz winning in Suzuka, Skinner winning in Melbourne, and outside that, Hijack, Bernat, Savinsky and Dunley all battling for positions down and further back. As you can see, that is Youngstra and Ockenhag fighting for themselves, coming out for turns 1 and 2. But tension's still up ahead. Casper Kurtz, Lukoski and Skinner have been single file in the 1st sector for the first time in a very long while, Lorenzo.
They have, and I think it's starting to get to them. All this battling, their tires are going to be completely shredded here. And I think they're just biding their time. Lukoski and Skinner might be just thinking over to try and make a last-minute move to leave all the other 2 out of any possibility to try and strike back. It's all mind games here, and I think I mentioned earlier Orbit might be working together to topple Lukoski. I think they're not working together at all here. I think they're both vying to win it for themselves. As we look further back at the moment, there seems to be a move on for Filip Czerwinski, maybe no slots back in behind Victor Bernat, but he is still thinking of that move, although he still has to think about Alfie Denley behind, who, after a very disappointing Suzuka, to still be in that fight for a potential top 5, it's amazing from the Thai driver.
Yeah, he's done incredibly well, but also hats off to Hijack as well, who's still holding on through to 4th, what has been a very long while, and might seem to continue to hold that right through to the very last lap, and is on record to record his best season results yet, for not only for himself but for Emerald Overdrive as a team. And surely the American outfit must be absolutely ecstatic with that. Here we go now, the final lap of the race, and this is all the positions to play for here. Lakoski and Casper side by side through once again through turn 1. This is going to be the very last moment through the 15 corners they're going to go, and Lakoski and Casper will know this, and it's going to be all they can. They're going to throw all they possibly can towards each other, and it's going to come like this. Look at this, Lakoski is going to look to the inside line, switches to the outside line instead. Casper's almost calls it through. He just holds on to the middle of the racing line for the moment, and still side by side through to the S's, now back into a single file line. Curtin still leads through to Lakoski and Skinner. Hijack has done his best to defend for Bernat, and it seems to be working. Lakoski tries to look down for the outside, coming for a little bit of a bump at the back there by Ben Skinner.
It's all gonna go down on the back straight here as well, because all 3 of them are gonna be within one another of striking distance.
No!
Oh no!
Oh my god! Casper's gone off!
Kasper Kuris goes off!
Lakoski's been looking at it! He goes off! Look at this! Lakoski will have for the DRS! Skinner will have the DRS! He's going down to the inside, coming over through turn 10. It's going to be super close! They made contact! They made contact! They made contact! They made contact! And Ben Skinner has found an opportunity, and he has seized it! He seized the opportunity without fighting! Lakoski and Curtis, as much as they've been fighting for one another, they finally made contact, and Ben Skinner seems to have all the momentum in the world to clinch his 2nd race win this season. He just needs a fencer from Lakoski for just 2 more corners and a straight, and the race win is his. Through to the final 2 corners he's going to go. Ben Skinner done everything he can possibly do here at this moment. Lakoski goes wide. Ben Skinner has won his 2nd race this season, and he does it so just about through to the line. Fantastic there from the Englishman.
Oh, there's still fighting going on in the back, I think. I think they're still fighting for oh well, not as interesting, but I think P14 is still up for grabs there. Oh well, the final points, oh, never mind. McKenna too far back. Van der
Smissen and McKenna both are across the line there from 4th to the 14th. La Flamme has managed to get through his first points in FS2, and everyone seems to be going for across the line. It's been a complete dramatic race, and I thought the only thing that could ever top this off was a last-minute drama, and a last-minute drama it was. Lakoski and Curtis both coming together onto the 2nd sector, and just from all that fighting of almost sheer perfect non-contact racing, they've made contact in turn 11, and that was all the opening that Ben Skinner needed to he will clinch his 2nd race win this season. His first being in Melbourne, his 2nd is now going to be here at Bahrain for race 1, and fantastic there from the championship leader to stay behind with Lakoski and Curtis, and didn't effectively fight as much as he needed to, and he capitalized it come for the very last minute. The replay here, so Lakoski's holding into the inside line against Curtis. I don't think Curtis was expecting him there, and that just seems to be contact between the front axle and the rear axle, and they both get stunned by it, and as a result they both unfortunately got damaged by it.
Yeah, well, now you say that Curtis wasn't expecting him to be there, but even if you can't, like, if you aren't in first person, obviously the cars have mirrors, and you even have virtual mirrors. I mean, those exist for a reason. You should be able to see Lutkovsky there alongside him and give him some space, and that's just silly from both of them. And through goes Ben Skinner, really, and says thank you very much, takes P1 from both of them. And people were saying that it could happen, some major contact that gives someone else the win, and it did. And it was just such a stupid and avoidable contact that I feel like if I go any further into it, I'm just gonna make myself more mad than I already am.
It's a shame because it's been a fantastic duel between Lukowski and Kurtz from almost the entirety of the lap, and coming through to the last minute and just make contact. I think it's a little bit unfortunate, but it's nothing to deny what has been probably one of the best Formula Sprint 2 races that we have seen in quite a long while. And as a result from it all, Ben Skinner for Orbit Motorsports is the driver that will come out on top here for race 1 after 17 long laps. Cody Lukowski clinches for another second place for Mapesville on second place, and it's Kasper Kurtz who, after the fight with Lukowski in Suzuka, continues through with his fight here in Suzuka, and unfortunately with that incident he will be third, but still Orbit Motorsports clinches through a P1 and P3, so double podiums for them there. 17 laps, sorry, Sava. Dan Hijek in Fremont Overdrive in 4th, with Victor Burnett in 5th, Philip Savinsky in 6th for McKenna Racing. Alfie Denley unfortunately drops down for the order into 7th, but still fantastic fighting between Hijek, Burnett, Savinsky, Denley and Glamsetter as Skinner, Lukowski and Kurtz battled. And then outside of that gap, we just see Craig Patterson through to 9th for Priority 1, and Tice Youngster completes over through to the top 10 for today's race here at Bahrain. Through to 11th, Magnus Ockenheim for Fox Esports is 11th, David Yunt for Aquila Racing is 12th, Justin Van Smith 13th, Nova McKenna in 14th. Good debut from her. Same with Axel Laflamme, as both the Academy drivers turn to FS2 drivers. Both score points there. Very good there. Riccardo Bassani, a great recovery drive from the Camaro Racing team. He started in the back row. He finished in 16th. Anthony Duval just misses out for the points. Unfortunately, with the incident, he's in 17th. Corey Krasminski is in 18th. Jonas Corrala for Priority 1 did the best recovery that he could possibly do. He's in 19th for Priority 1. Eric Brenner for Hunterbird Simulation completes over through to the top 20 here in Bahrain. Twice goes through to David de Vries. Hansko Mebus is in 22nd, beats Mihailo Vicentevic for 23rd. Eamon Asipir completes in 24th. Amir Hazik is in 25th. Manamani Kandan is in 26th, with Leila Petralia completing over Leila Petralia, and Jonas Lepet are the last of the lead lap runners, with James Rukwai, Samuel Slavev finishing a lap down, as well with Rafael Urham being the only retirement for today's race.
Tell you what, with everything that happened, I'm surprised we've only had one DNF. Commiserations to Rafael Arham for missing out on all the fun, one could say. But, I mean, what a race. And again, I'm surprised we only had one DNF with everything that's happened, and, you know, seeing as it's FS2. But, yeah, amazing racing, some slightly stupider moments, to put it quite bluntly. But more of that in race 2, please, with less stupid moments.
It's been a very exciting 17 laps. We've got another 13 laps, 3 to go. It's been absolutely chaos here in the commentary booth. Lorenzo has lost his breath. Remco has surely lost his breath. And I have certainly lost my breath. We're both all going to take a break for 10 short minutes. We're going to get ourselves a glass of water, and we'll be able to be refilled and re-energized for the sprint race. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Inside a place of... On the next Kelty seat, the coffee beanery, Tyrek.
Flat out. Oh no! Oh no! Who's round? It's Magnussen. Oh, it's going to be a touch moment. It's in the barrier. Oh, they spun. Oh, this is a carnage.
And Menocon's going to win.
God. It's a double pass. Could they take each other off? They don't. And Flack slide. It's a victory for the Tuties.
They touch. They're now. Oh no!
Soriano's gone around and met the wall. Mitchell will go through. Does it go uphill into turn 4? Oh, and round the outside. What a fabulous move.
Frelick will use all of his as well. Here he comes. He makes a move. They touch. They run wide. And Munio's going to get it. We're going 3 wide. Look at
Sing.
contact. Oh, my goodness. The Tyne has lost a wheel.
Time's out.
The dramatic race that we were teeing up the entire time has come to an end.
Welcome back to the Bahrain International Circuit, what has been a pretty astounding FS2 race, I think, and probably, honestly, up for contention for one of the best feature races that we have seen in the championship's history, in my opinion. We can now move on through to the 13-lap sprint race, and my good colleague Remco de Zeeuw continues through to the amazing broadcast of things. I want you all in the chat to give him a big applause, because he was having an aneurysm of a lifetime of which battles to pick, and he did a fantastic job, so big thanks as well to Remco. Lorenzo, my good co-commentator, joins alongside me once again, and he can happily reveal to us what is the sprint pole position going to be.
12. It's 12. The curse isn't breaking yet, lads. Yeah, it's disappointing, I know, but we've still not had P11 as reverse grid pole in. How long has it been now? It's been since 2023. You'd think a track that's been gone since P11 was last reverse grid pole would bring it back. No, it just doesn't, does it?
Yeah, great.
It's heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking. David Yunt will be starting on pole position, and as a result, it is going to be the 12 in order going to be starting on reverse as a result from that. So that means that we get to see Ben Skinner start from 12, Lakowski from 11th, and Casper from 10th. Are they going to continue on for their fights? I'm more interested in the battle that we've seen between Hijek, Denley, Cervinski, and Burnett. If they have that edge to lead, are we going to see them fight as much? Is my question. And I think and also the question is just how well will Skinner, Lakowski, and Kurtz make their way up to the front, because we haven't really properly seen Lakowski make his way up through the field in a sprint race, because his only sprint race appearance has been so far. He unfortunately retired at the exit of the Degna curve on lap 3. So Again, complete a lot of unknowns, because again we've got nothing to base the Bahrain here for at the moment.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how race 2 pans out, where obviously the reverse grid pole and whatnot. But yeah, sorry, I'm still stuck up on the fact that P11 is yet to be reverse grid pole. We've had a bit of information dropped into our broadcast chat by our good friend Alex Folks. It has been 43 rounds since P11 was last reverse grid pole, and the chance of that not happening is 0.3300173. So that is 1.73 times 10 to the minus 33rd.
That's incredible, and just shows you how the chances are just so slim. But speaking of slim chances, we've got the night settling upon us here. We are just a few moments away from the 13 laps of the sprint race for the third round. And my usual token and question for the start of the Bahrain International Circuit, David Yunt Ockenhag. Any predictions for you, Lorenzo, on your hand, or none?
I still stick by my prediction before race 1 that we're gonna get at least one new race winner. But I haven't a clue who that's gonna be. Yeah, I think it's gonna happen. Whether it does actually. I mean, we have 13 laps to find out, don't we?
13 laps of the sprint race. Well, it's been a fantastic 17 laps of the feature. Our starting grid for the race as follows. The lottery has drawn through number 12. David Yunt will be starting on pole position for Killer Racing, and follows through with Magnus Ockenhag for Fox Esports in second place. He's the highest placed of the returnees. Thijs Youngstra for Moldova Drivers in third, with Craig Patterson for Priority 1 in fourth. Followed through that for fifth is Christian Glamsetter, Alfie Denny 6th, Philip Savinsky 7th, and Bernat 8th. Expect them all to continue fighting on here for the sprint race. And then it's a similar position through to 9th for Dan Hijek, who has emerged victorious of that battle. Casper Curtis, Koda Nikolakowski, and Ben Skinner, 10th, 11th, and 12th. A fantastic triplet duel previously expected here. Just Savannah Smith is 13th for VMS Sunets. Racing Nova McKenna is in 14th. Axel Laflamme could come 2 points for the GPVWC Academy, and in 16th it was Ricardo Pisani. Anthony Duval's in 17th with Corey Krasminski in 18th. Jonas Corral is in 19th, and Eric Brenner for Hunter Birch is 20th. Through over to 21st, David De Vries for BMS Sunets Racing is in that position. Hans Gomibus is 22nd, falls through Mihailo Vicentievich in 23rd. Eamon Asabir for Elk Internationals in 24th. Amir Hazik, 25th for Hot Performance Engineering, follows through with Mano Manikanda for Fretchenair in 26th. Lena Pacelli is in 27th with Jonas Lepik, completes over through to row 14 for Hot Performance Engineering. Following through to the last 3 cars onto the grid, it is James Workwai for Killer Races 29th. Samuel Slava for Matsuyo is in 30th, and Raphael Erham was the only driver that did not complete the race in race 1. He'll be starting for 31st for Camera Racing. Well,
yeah, you mentioned Raphael Erham being the only DNF. I hope that, you know, the fact that there was so little DNFs persists in race 2 as well. Obviously, with FS2, nothing can be guaranteed. We've seen some of the previous rounds. We've seen Suzuka, where I think there was like 10 DNFs in both races, or along the lines of that, very close. But yeah, as the drivers slowly line up on the grid, we'll see who's going to be going home crying after this round, and who's going to be home celebrating. As Raphael Erham, the only DNF, the last driver to line up.
Here we go. Yep, here we go. David Jontent, Magnus Okanaug sharing through P1 and P2, waiting for the lights to come out here. Looking on board of David Jont's point of view, the 5 lights are going to come off here. Their lights are off. We're underway in Bahrain once again for 13 laps. David Jont, a pretty good start. Okanaug is going to do his best to defend from Youngstra. Youngstra is going to try and make it 3 wide heading into turn 1. And David Jont finds himself in the middle of a pack here. But Okanaug makes his way through. Jont gets squeezed, and Youngstra is going to capitalize a little bit on it. Pushes Jont out, actually. And the Killer Racing finds himself trying to get back into that position, but he's under pressure from Glamsetter and from Patterson, as the Fox Esports could potentially get a 1-2 in a matter of corners. But the pressure he's trying to push onto Glamsetter may not going to happen here. It does not happen. Youngstra, very good defense from there. Following through back, though, you can see the battle between Jont and Patterson continue on a bit ahead. Patterson, fortunately, has to back off and has to worry about Savinsky. That is Denley going wide, and you can see Casper Kurtz has already made his way up through the field. Savinsky goes sideways on the exit out of turn 6.
Yeah,
Sorry,
obviously, yeah, Fox Esports already have a double podium on their hands, even in lap 1. I see yellow flags flashing all around Sector 1 and Sector 2. I don't know if... Oh, there's some damage. I think we saw some debris. There's a tire off.
No.
There's a tire off in turn 10.
Yeah, I see that as well.
That's one of the McKennas.
Yeah, that's Nova McKenna. Nova McKenna has suffered a wheel missing.
Oh.
That was someone's gone off from a spin. Oh,
get off the track. Get off the track. Come on.
Massive contact. And it's pandemonium here. A lot of retirements that we've already just seen into the second sector. A lot of retirements. And a big shame for so many drivers. But the tension goes up for a head. Okanaug still leads. Youngstra clamps that to Jont, Savinsky, Patterson, Denley, Hijack, Skinner, Lakoski are your top 10 at the moment, with Curtis in 11th, Krasminski, Laflamme in 12th, 13th, Pisani 14th, and De Vries 15th.
I know it's FS2, and I know the racing standard gets so much flack. As Christian Glomsetter thinks of a move on Faiz Youngstra, who thinks of a move on Magnus Okanaug. But we cannot be entertaining what we just saw there. That is absolutely abysmal. If you've lost a tyre, get off the track. Do not continue driving. We've seen this with Mano Manikanda in Suzuka, where he carried on for a full sector and then decided to call it quits. Noah McKenna could have easily pulled over and just avoided everything that happened there. It would have happened anyway, but it would have been less. Just, I've got no words. I've simply run out of words that I can say on stream, honestly.
I want to see the replay from this, because she's trying to get back into the pits to recover, but I don't think, even though that she was 3 wheels on track and wasn't evasive action, none of it was really her. I know what you mean by going off track. She's kind of a mobile chicane, but there was already contact going on ahead. So someone was already gone off. That was Corrala. That was right into the middle of the track. He's lost a wheel. He's obviously trying to move out. And there's McKenna. So Corrala's already gone past. So McKenna's not really a part of this. And Corrala got tagged again. And it's like the
Birches.
yeah, one of the Hunter Birches. Think that might be. I'm not sure who that might be, to be honest. Might be Layla, I think. It's just really hard to tell in these circumstances. But Corrala, so unfortunate for him. Bahrain was full of promises for him and comes through to retirement. This is Petralia. This is. We wanted to see a little bit later on. I think this might be fine. Oh my goodness me, a bit of contact, and she goes sideways, and oh goodness me, that was very close. Turn 11 seemed to be so messy, and from what I could see, there was like 3 or 4 separate incidents, so everyone was just trying to evade each other, and I think the laps just like intertwined. You could see from Lepet, look how much track he had to try and he had to avoid so much carnage from Corrala, from McKenna. I think the collision between, I think it was Bernat and Asabir.
The thing is as well, I'm sorry to cut in here, Amir. You can see there the Elk International Environment Asabir having to go the long way around to avoid Nova McKenna, and in the process hitting the Frechenero thing that was Mani Kandan. If Nova McKenna pulls over instead of trying to drive on 3 wheels, that does not happen. And both drivers can carry on with their races as if nothing, something did happen, but nothing to them. What we're doing here is we're entertaining stupidity to go on. I know what Toby now felt at Suzuka 2 years back. This is quite frankly just completely disappointing.
I think someone in the chat said that I called out the wrong Hunter Birch, and I think I might be right. So I think it was Eric Brown that was the one that tagged Jonas Corrala in that incident. But yeah, it's just bit unfortunate. Oh my goodness me! Hijack gets collected by Ben Skinner. Ben Skinner goes off. And that's unfortunate there for Motorsports Sports. Hijack has gone right off onto the final corner, and a big unfortunate mishap there from the Czech driver means that he is dropped all the way down to P19.
Come on, man. I've said this already. I'm losing my patience ever so slowly with this race, and everything I was talking about, everything I was hoping about, completely in the bin for this race.
Okenhag looking his way to the outside onto Youngstra from the outside there, and we'll have Christian Glamcenter to assist, but Okenhag goes a little bit too wide, has to stay through behind. I know it's unfortunate from the sort of racing that we're seeing, but the race does indeed go on, and Youngstra, Okenhag and Glamcenter will make it a triple threat similar to what we've seen between Skinner, Lakowski and Kurtz a bit earlier on. They have a potentially to go right down to the wire from lap 13 as well, but we'll have to see. Okenhag and Glamcenter both been, as you said, a really good pairing, but Okenhag has just been rather bit unlucky in the 2 races he's had, and unfortunately now he's in a good position to get it off from Youngstra. Youngstra has yet to win a race this season and could very well truly do. Same with Okenhag as well. Yellow flags a little bit all over again. I'm just looking over through to the timing towers. No retirements I could see from at the moment, but just lap 4 out of 13. Oh my goodness me! Samuel Slaviv has hit the wall hard and has lost a wheel, and Mapesville has found themselves down a car. And I think I'm not sure if he'd been collected on his own. This is he's completely on his own heading into turn 1. Did he just simply touch the grass, or let's have a look here to see the replay? It's just a simple give up, I believe.
This race is so stupid. It's so stupid. We're entertaining stupidity. I'll repeat again.
Here we go, Okenhag looking down to the outside. Go for Okenhag. Here we go. Is Youngstra going to be able to respond here? He's going to have to back off for turn 1, and he allows for Magnus to make his way on through. He will have for the DRS to make the move. That is one of the Priority 1 esports cars lost it. That was Craig Patterson without a front wing. Ties Youngstra and Okenhag side by side battling, approaching over through to turn 4, and Okenhag defends really brilliantly actually from Tice, I must say. Magnus still leads from Tice and Christian. Oh, Craig Patterson has really dropped off down for to the order. I think he's trying to get that priority 1 car to the repairs. Similarly, I think I saw Skinner making his way past through Chris Minsky. No, Patterson actually fine. He doesn't have his he has his front wing on, so it just simply went off coming through turn 1, as that was. Yeah, so that's just unfortunate. The replay here, this is coming over through to, as I said, turn 1. I'm not sure if he just lost it on his own. There's Skinner in the background. He's making the overtake on, not Skinner, that's Curtis on Denley. Patterson just, it's a tank slapper and a half. Too eager on the throttle, and, well, he didn't really collect anyone, so he's perfectly fine with that. A mistake is a simple mistake, but I think he's a little bit demoralized by that because he's down in 21st.
What I don't understand is how the second mistake happened, because I doubt that he sustained any damage going over the slight hills, if you could say so. But nevertheless, another disappointing race for Craig Patterson, and just priority 1 in general, with Jonas Carola out again.
Oh my goodness me, Curtis gone a little bit wide. Is that going to allow for Denley to use for the slipstream? But tension up through to the front between Glamset and Youngster. They have the closest battle we have seen thus far. Glamset are going to use it through. Is he going to join along his teammate? Through down to turn 1, holds on to the inside line, and it's a great move there by Christian. He gets himself up into P2. Fox Esports could become the first new team this season to clinch a 1-2, which is honestly going to be quite impressive for a team in their debut, to be honest. But further back there, Duval getting himself under pressure from Pisani. Pisani is in reach of points, which is extremely good there by him. And you can see further back there, you've got Dan Hijek, Van der Smissen, Eric Brenner, and Leila Petralia as well into the mix. And further up ahead, Axel Laflamme tries to look down to the outside for turn 5, and he's a bit too eager on the frontal. Does rejoin and will throw himself into a mix between himself and Duval. Both of them Academy drivers, they both make contact with the side pods. Axel has to go off and will rejoin and loses 2 positions. And Pisani cuts him off a little bit.
That was very interesting. I don't even know what to say anymore. But I think what's most important here is nobody was affected enough to be completely out of the race, and all of the affected parties are still in the race.
Yeah, I'm sorry I'm cutting you off, Lorenzo. It's just absolute chaotic pandemonium from all of us here. 3 wide, approaching over down to turn 10, and Duval makes his way past through Pisani for turn 12, but he accelerates onto the curb. He joins back onto the track, collects through one of the Hunter Bridge drivers, and that's super unfortunate for the Max Motorsports driver as he drops over to P19. What could have been a point scoring, and it's just a simple mishap onto the curb, and he drops down to P19. Luckily, no damage collected from what I can see.
I don't know. Let's talk about some positives in this race, please. Let's move on.
Fox
and
Esports
look
are
at
going to
this
be
nice
going battle side by side. Here we go. They're going to be going battling out for the lead. Tyson Youngster's going to get himself down to 3 wide here. Glabsetter makes a chance to make the move up against Ockenhag. Ockenhag does his best to defend from Youngster. Youngstra too early onto the frontal. Finds himself a bit of a tank slapper. Fox Esports still holds on to a 1 and 2, but the roles have been switched. Here's Glabsetter now that leads, followed by Ockenhag. But Ockenhag is surely going to be able to try his best to respond to that, and he does so. Holding on to the inside line, coming over for turn 4, and simple as you like, Ockenhag retakes the lead.
Some great racing here in the front, at least, between the Fox Esports drivers and the Emerald Dover driver, Fires Youngstra. The 2 new teams, both drivers won only 1, fighting for the lead here. And I think you mentioned Fox Esports will be the first new team to get a 1-2 this season. I think that'll be the first team overall to get a 1-2 this season, and I think that'll be quite an impressive and admirable feat for the English outfit, as Kasper Kuritz seems to be right on the back of David Junt, who's dropping further and further back. He started on pole position, now he's going to go into P6, or P5 actually, sorry, as Kasper Kuritz is climbed quite well. 6 positions gained already. He's looking to spoil the party for Ockenhag and Glomsetter, as well as James Knox.
Yeah, I mean, it's still pretty interesting how well Curtis has done. Meanwhile, when you look at Skinner was involved in the earlier incident as well, so his position is not really relative. But Cody Nikolakowski has been struggling a little bit more than Kasper, I think, as he's been trying his best to reach up for the order. But I think for Fox Esports, if Kasper is kind of into their back tail, they kind of know they have to start fighting a little less, but they might continue going on ahead. Glamsetter and Ockenhag are going to go duel once again. Thijs Youngstra is going to do his best to insert himself once again. And look at this. He's going to thread the needle straight down through the middle, and he will take the lead right back. But Glamstead is going to try his best tonight and does so through to the inside line for turn 1 and 2. And that's going to allow for Kurtz. Again, you can see he's slowly getting himself down into that picture at the moment, and he will be able to use the DRS almost in a... There he is. He's using the DRS now, and Thijs Youngstra trying his best to take through the lead. He's not able to do so. Skulls over for the switchback for turn 4. Has to take evasive action a little bit since Glamstead overcooked it a little bit. Through to the S's they go. Glamstead still leads. Thijs Youngstra second. Okenhag third. Kurtz in fourth, and David Young in... My goodness me, side by side between Okenhag and Youngstra for turn 8. Bit of contact there as Youngstra tries to correct it. He does manage to correct it, but loses a position in the process.
He does, and all of this fighting has allowed not only Casper Kurz but David Young to catch up as well. We would have thought, or at least I would have thought, that David Young would fall away quite a bit. He has not had the pace in this race too, unfortunately, for the Swiss driver, but he's still keeping up with the pack, and he's still in that battle for potentially the podium. And we see in the background Kodin Nikolatkovsky is ever so slowly catching up as well as David Young. He just went past Thijs Youngstra for P4, so he's still very well in that battle as Casper Kurz is now into P3, which means the Fox Esports once again in 1-2.
That was someone going wide. That was Casper, but does manage to regroup and reconsolidate. He's still into P3 at the moment. No ground lost, no ground gained. And the Estonian's now going to look for Magnus Okenhag, the next in his hit list. Again, Ben Skinner was the first ever, repeat race winner this season. Casper Kurz can well and truly join alongside Ben Skinner in that accolade in this race. And here we go, he's going to make the overtake up against Okenhag, makes his way right on through. Surely might be able to make it before the corner, and he does so. Fantastic move there by Casper through to turns 1, little bit sideways, but still keeps the hold of it. Casper's doing extremely well thus far, and could well and truly take the lead away from Glamstead, maybe even earlier on, as you can see the David Young trying to defend from Youngstra. Youngstra on a bit of a charge to reclaim what he lost, and not able to make an overtake onto David Young at the minute. Surfinski looks over to the outside of Denley, unable to do so. Single fall for the S's.
Yeah, Philip Cheminsky is still putting on a great show for us here, battling with Alfie Dunley. A bit of a repeat from race 1 as well. Zan Hayek further back, he's in a bit of a VMS Sonnet sandwich here with David De Vries quite a long way from the Czech driver, but Justin van der Smissen and Axel Laflamme very, very close to that second Emerald Overdrive car, and they're both vying for that P12, as behind them as well you can see the sole remaining Chimera Racing Team car of Riccardo Bassani battling the two Hunter Birches for that final point. Hunter Birch yet to score a point inside these 3 rounds, while Chimera only have 1 all the way from Melbourne. So obviously this P15 is going to mean quite a lot for both of these teams if they can get it.
Yeah, exactly. Bassani, Petrelli and Brenna all eyeing for their first points this season, so we'll definitely keep an eye out for that. Kodin Nikolatkovsky into the inside through the final corner. I thought that was going to be turn 4, but my mind just playing tricks on me a little bit. Apologies for that, viewers. And Lukowski makes the move on ahead, but looking over further ahead, Glamstead and Casper going to be battling out through to turn 1, and Casper, quick and easy as you like, does make the move before the turn, and that's all he needs to really do now. He's just got about 4 laps left to go. He needs to do his best to fend off from Christian Glamstead, who's done pretty well to hold on to P8 in race 1, so he can well and truly challenge Casper in that time. And there you go, you're seeing that response from the Norwegian right now, right down to the inside, coming over for turn 4. Going to be going side by side through there, and look at that, Christian giving him a little bit of room, but not making himself too comfortable. And yes, there you go, you can see Christian Glamstead fantastically defended that lead.
He has indeed, and one thing I've noticed in the time we've been watching Casper Kurz, he has been going off track quite a lot, and he doesn't always gain an advantage, but quite a lot of times when he does go off track, we saw a couple of laps back, he did gain quite a bit of an advantage on Magnus Okenhag, and I do wonder how many times has he done that? Can he keep it up? Will it bring him a penalty? It's something that he needs to think about with 4 laps remaining now, and I don't know, I feel like Casper Kurz has been abusing the track limits in this race to potentially way too much. We've not seen that much of him but we've seen moments from him where he does do that. So it's one thing to think of, one thing to consider for not just Kuritz, but everyone surrounding him now, which is, I mean, that's the top 7 now, top 6.
Yeah, still the race is coming over to its closing stages. I think the lead has been, I think this, in terms of like pure racing, the lead has been Ben Banner! That was someone gone off, that was Ben Skinner! And he might have dropped off from that, he was going completely sideways, but still holds on for the knife. More importantly, Conan Lukowski right down to the outside, up against there. You can see David Junt, who's trying to eye himself up into the podium. He's not giving up against Okanag. Glamset and Kuritz are going to be going side by side. Okanag has dropped off down. He's dropped down to 4th. Ben Skinner up against Chris Minsky. This is going to be super tight. The Polish driver could get a chance to get a position away from the championship leader, but alas, he will not down through to turn 2. Okanag and David Junt side by side. David Junt has done really well to hold on to P3 and is still continuing this fight against the Fox Esports driver, and they continue side by side through to the S's. Massive amount of respect there. A little bit of contact though, and Cody Nikolakowski makes his way on through down to turn 8, and look at this, still 3 by wide, and it's super close and all neat and tidy.
It is all neat and tidy so far, but what's not tidy, we've just seen 2 in the NFs.
Oh,
He saved it!
He did save it, but that's going to cost him big time. Meanwhile, up ahead, David Junt has gone a bit wide through turn 10. That's allowed for Lukowski to get himself up into 4th. And you can see there, immediately, Okanag is going to try and do defensive through down to this corner of turn 11 there. Lukowski is going to try and look over for a switchback maybe, or going to go side by side through to the 2nd sector continuously. And he will be able to try and do so, but has to worry about David Junt through to behind. Push over to the first second. Deadly with a dive bomb up against David Junt, and has it worked? I think it might have, or just barely have done so. And David Junt has retaken back P5. Lukowski and Okanag in the midst of their own battle, still up ahead. Through over to the final 2 corners, up ahead, and Lukowski makes the move. Finally on past. There goes Tice Youngster, finds himself in the midst of this mix with David Junt and Alfie Denley again. Lukowski makes the move, and Okanag has to do his best to make that overtake back. And Curtis and Glamsetter still in the midst of the fight. Still 2 laps left to go, Lorenzo. Still 2 laps.
Still 2 laps indeed.
My goodness. My God, that was so close, but impressive reactions there by Youngstra, and they both make a little bit of contact out from turn 1, but still seems to be a little bit fine, and okay it is for now. Out from the external turn 2, Curtin still leads. Glamsetter, Lukowski, Okanag making the move, run for the outside. Against Lukowski coming over for turn 5, Denley and Youngstra exchanging positions, and Youngstra as well, and Junt, and still going to go side by side. My goodness me, there's so much actually going on, Lorenzo.
There's so much going on that we failed to mention the fact Kodian Koziminski was battling with Ben Skinner for P9. He's out of the race. He crashed out, I'm assuming, a lap back, and we didn't get to see what happened to him. Amir Hazik also crashed out on the same lap, so we're now down to just 19 drivers are going to finish this race too, compared to the 13 race 1. And again, I've mentioned it before at the beginning of the race, it's really disappointing to see what's happened in this race too. But I mean, there's so many people who are going to be overjoyed what's happening here. But again, I think one person is going to be overjoyed with this round, Alfie Denley. I don't know where he's come from compared to Suzuka, but this is an amazing race from the Thai Tiger here.
We finally used that catchphrase, I think, or we used it the lap before, but yeah, just impressive stuff there. Here we go. Glamsetter and Kurtz through to the final lap. Kurtz has seen himself in this position before, where he had to defend himself from 2 other cars to get the race lead. Can he do what he couldn't do back in the feature race? He's got all the events to make up for. Glamsetter could win 2 race 2s in a row if he can defend himself from Casper, but Casper makes the move down to turn 1 importantly, and he holds on to the middle through turn 1. On the exit out for turn 2, Okanag and Lukowski going to go side by side themselves in a battle for P3 as well. And you can see further back there a little bit of contact going out on the exit, but Lukowski is the one that's going to lead right on out.
Christian Glamset is still there battling with Kasper Kuritz. He's going to have, I think he might be able to be on for an overtake on the back straight again. And Lukowski's going to be on for an overtake on Okenhag down the back straight as well. It's just a matter of things. Are we going to have a repeat of race 1 again, where Kuritz and Glamsetter are going to come together this time, and then Okenhag goes through and takes the win? Can we turn? I wish we can turn our attention over to Glomsetter and Curtis. They're fairly close together. They're on the back straight now. They've just entered. The Glomsetter will have DRS here. He's 4/10 back. I don't think he'll be quite close enough for it.
I think he might be close enough, or if not, the DRS will definitely facilitate him forward to the final straight now. Here we go, approaching over down for turn 11. Glomsetter needs to get these corners spot on. If he misses a beat, then he won't be able to get that chance to get a race to win like he did in Suzuka. Further on back, Colin Lukoski doing his best to defend from Okanak as he makes the overtake, and Chili's going to try and hope it down to the final wire, but it's still super close. Okanak almost calls his bluff, but Lukoski still persists for turn 13, right on exit, and it's still going to be going through by wide. David Young still sees himself into the picture. Lukoski has to defend himself from two cars. Curtis first out to the final corner. He's going to get a race win here for race 2. But look at this, super close. Christian Glomsetter completes over through to P2, and for the final spot on the podium, Cody Lukoski makes it maybe 2 podiums in a row, just about through to the line, as he just about does it, I believe. And yes, he will do so. Further back, Leila Petralia down onto the inside, up against La Flamme. This is going to be Hunterbird Simulation's first points, and Leila Petralia's first points in FS2 as well, and she manages to do it right for across the line. For all the hecticness, Hunterbird Simulation has now finally got the point. Oh my goodness.
Why do that?
It's just overjoyed with excitement, I'm pretty sure, but that has been the race over and done with. I think everyone has managed to go for across the line. Jonas Lepet went for the line, and Manamani Kandan has gone for across the line. So from the 31 cars that we have started this race, only 19 have finished, which has been a new record low this season. But Casper Curtis, Ben Skinner won race 1, Casper managed to become victorious in race 2, and Christian Glomsetter gets through to another podium in race 2. Fantastic there from the Fox Esports driver. And Cody Nikolakowski, a fantastic defense from Okanagan. David Jones through to the very final moment, would be really happy with 3rd place. And now a look through to the final results for what has been a pretty dramatic race 2.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it very dramatic. I'd call it primarily just good racing up front, and then massive waves of just general stupidity further towards the back, which, you know, it's happened before in FS2, as we take a look at what happened to Ben Skinner and what he was only in P9. But some of the things we've seen today, we've failed to see in Academy. It's disappointing to see this race too, and I can't say I'm going to be more disappointed than the drivers involved, because I can't be. They're the ones there on track, putting in the effort, but it's not worth the words.
Yeah. It's fine. We've there's a lot of discussions to be made. The protests will be made for the protests, and we'll follow the Bahrain for an exciting race 1. I did say dramatic race 2 because it honestly was indeed dramatic, and I'm trying my best to be neutral here, because I was just so much going on, to be honest, and with your brain going at 1,000 miles per hour, it's often quite hard to comprehend the stuff like this, especially from what we've just witnessed. Well, last thank you to Remco de Zeeuw for his great coverage through to both races. And race 2, the provisional race results will be this. Casper Curtis for Orbit Motorsports will take for his 2nd race win this season. So this is the first time ever in this race that we have seen 2 repeat winners. Ben Skinner getting his 2nd and Casper Curtis getting his 2nd. So fantastic there from Orbit Motorsports as a whole. Christian Glomsetter gets 2nd at the very last minute with his duel with Casper. Cody Nikolakowski with his duel with Magnus and David. He will get 3rd from XVO. Magnus Ockenhag couldn't quite make it a Fox Esports double podium, but still really impressive there from the Norwegian. With the Killer Racing David Yunt having started from pole, extremely, I think, did really impressive to hold on through the 5th. Alfie Denley from Mouse Motorsports did really good to climb up through the 6th for the Scottish outfit. Tice Youngster for Emerald Overdrive is in 7th, with Philip Savinsky 8th for McKenna. Ben Skinner with that spin drops down through to 9th for Orbit, but I think he still holds on through to the championship lead. And David De Vries completes over through to the top 10 for VMS and it's Racing. Through to 11th, Dan Hijuk for Emerald Overdrive, with Justin van der Smissen in 12th. Riccardo Pisani records his first points in his FS2 career, similar to Leila Petralia. However, it's for Hunter Birch Simulation's first points. Axel Laflamme gets points for GPVWC Academy, with Eric Brenner just missing out in P16. Hansko Mebis in 17th, with Jonas Lepit in 18th. Manomani Kantan was the only driver that had to finish a lap down, with the retirements being Kordian Krasminski, Amir Hazik, Craig Patterson, Anthony Duval, Samuel Slavov, Eamon Asabir, Rafael Urham, Mihailo Vicentievich, Nova McKenna, Jonas Korala, Victor Burnett, and James Roquide.
Tell you what, I lit up a sandalwood incense stick before this race, thinking, right, I could use this. It's going to be a bit stressful. It's not helped at all. I feel like my heart's palpitating just at the mere thought of everything that's happened. And, I mean, we see on the calendar here, Jeddah's coming up next, from one Middle Eastern country to another, and this time it's going to be a street circuit. After seeing the display today, quite frankly, I'm scared. But I'm equally enthralled and excited for the race. So, yeah, I don't know. We march forwards and we move on from what's happened in race 2. And yeah, there's still 13 more rounds left, as we can see here. Jeddah coming up next, followed by Sepang, Montreal, and then the European round of rounds with Imola for San Marino, Silverstone, Spa, Hungaroring, Hockenheim this year compared to last year's Nürburgring, Monza, and then we leave Europe for the United States with Kota as opposed to Indianapolis last year, Singapore, Abu Dhabi, and then we close off the year at Interlagos, as all things should be.
Saudi Arabia coming up for next. We still hold on to the Middle East part as we head to the Jeddah Corniche circuit, the fastest street circuit on the planet. Will host for the next round, 14th of April 2026 here for FS2, and just been a pretty it's been
I think the less is said is better.
It's such a shame because race 1. It's such a shame because race 1 was so fun, was so great, and I think I was talking to Remco, and I remember all of us were like happy how race 1 went, and we were like, oh, imagine if race 2 was a letdown, and I don't know. It's hard. It's hard because I can also see the stuff that was going on in the chat, and also in the Discord chat as well. So everyone seems to be a little bit heated as well. So it's gonna be pretty. I hope once everything cools down, we can. I think
we should move over to the interviews right now, because I think people might be a bit tired of hearing us talk.
Yeah, I want to do that. Thank you very much, Remco. And with that, we'll bring on through to our first match.
Can I nominate? I think we should have the pairing of Samuel Slavov and Nikola Latkovsky, as well as Kasper Kuritz, as Samuel Slavov is both driver for Mapes and team owner of Orbit. So I feel like it's a bit appropriate to bring the three of them on together. We get to see an inside of race 1 as well.
Go figure.
Let's see. Oh, that is quite a lot of people waiting for an interview. Lord Almighty. All right, let's.
Sorry, Samuel. Just give me a moment.
Let's drag the people in.
It's just very, very hectic here.
It's hard to navigate with so many people in the VC.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like it. It's some.
To be fair, we have reason for so many people to wait for an interview. But first, we're gonna give these three a chance in Kasper Kuritz, Nikola Latkovsky, and Samuel Slavov. Can the three of you hear us?
Yo, family.
Yeah. Amir, take the charge here.
Well, fantastic race from you both, Kasper and Cody. I think you two both sharing through to the front row. I think it's been very highly anticipated from Wap and Suzuka that the fight will continue on. How do you two both feel after that very exciting feature race between you two? Either you can go first. Sorry.
I don't know. It was really. I didn't really expect it to be this competitive. I didn't start until Sunday midnight to do my first laps because everyone complained and I couldn't really be bothered to be in the same pain. But then I was like a second off Ben, so I didn't really expect to qualify P2 and actually fight Cody at all. And I think we fought really good and I really enjoyed it. And then last lap happened, and after kind of calming down and seeing what really happened, it was just an unfortunate incident, at least from my part. And then just unlucky, I guess.
I think you did say it was a little bit unlucky, but I think it was still, from the fight before, pretty fantastic. I think.
Definitely.
Cody,
really
your insight. Cody, your input on it?
Yeah, I would say that the entire race from start to finish was a really good battle in the feature. Every respect to Casper for mounting and defense, taking it on the outside and, doing some daring moves that you wouldn't really expect. So he kept me on my toes, and it was really a lot of fun trying to keep up with him, to try and put up a fight. And look, I don't want to put anyone down here, but I think that there were some mistakes that were made on track. Prior to that incident on the second last straight, that also in the feature race, also in the sprint race, those things need to be looked at a bit more carefully moving forward. But, overall, I don't want to let that dampen the mood. I think we're here for some good racing. At the end of the day, we're all just racing a couple of pixels against each other. So obviously a lot of fun. And in the sprint race afterwards, I don't think I could have done much better, to be honest. I don't have tiny pedal installed, so the start was a bit touch and go. I held my breath every now and then. So, I don't think I could have gone much further towards the front. But, man, seeing Casper, seeing Alfie, seeing Magnus, all put up a really, really solid fight, battling out, not just staying, stagnant and in their own position. They were really going for it. That's something I love to see. I hope we can see more of that moving forward. I would love to, get involved with that a lot more often. And, looking forward to the rest of the season, obviously.
Lorenzo?
We've heard from both Casper, we've heard from Cody as well. I'd like to hear from Samuel, obviously. Very disappointing race today, well, both races, and you're going to be the first one to say it. But from a team owner's perspective, that was quite a good round for Orbit Motorsports, and looking at the provisional standings currently, Ben and Casper do occupy the first two positions in the standings, and you have, as it stands, reached more than 200 points. So obviously a lot of people touted you as the main people to win the team's championship. Do you think you can carry this momentum through the remaining 13 rounds? Because there were some slight hiccups from both Ben and Casper in the races today.
Maybe in race one and actually in the qualifying, we kind of lost our minds there a bit, but we figured it out after that. Race one was kind of chaotic, but they still managed to do good. Race two, Ben got involved in an incident, but that's just how it is sometimes, and it's unlucky. But overall, as a team, we performed very good. We're still top of the standings, and as you said, they're both P1 and P2, so that's very good. We need to just continue in this form. Casper should maybe start practicing from earlier so he doesn't have to grind 24/7 the last 2 days. And from a team perspective, it's that, but as a driver, this is just the, I don't know, I don't know which of the most disappointing races already in FS2, like driving standards, never get better in the back. I don't want to say I'm always involved in this because I don't usually qualify like last. I had a grip penalty today. But even in the mid-pack, stuff like this happens. Like we saw Nova McKenna driving on 3 wheels for absolutely no reason. And yeah, just ruined a lot of races. And I'm not even going to speak about the back markers because I'm probably going to get timed out on live VC, so yeah. Oh, also, just want to mention, because I haven't said it in VC, this track is very, very bad. Domenico, I don't care that it's laser scanned, and we can not fucking drive on this bullshit ever again, bro.
Philip flew into the sky like a fucking rocket.
Okay.
And Domenico suck.
Okay.
Mic drop.
Final question for you. Final question for you both. Samuel, pretty good season for your team as well, for Casper and for Ben, leading through to the teams championship after 3 rounds. You're the first team that has got 2 race wins under its belt in a round. How do you feel for this going forward, and also for your own position in Mapes, for yourself and for Cody and Casper? Your championship ambitions, do you think, or what are your goals, do you think you can achieve heading through to halfway through the season? Sammy, you'll go first.
Okay, well, team basis, I'm very confident we're going to win the Drivers' Championship, of course. Fox Esports is doing very, very good. I didn't think they'd be second. I thought they would be like 3rd or 4th best team, but they're actually very, very good, very, very strong. So, yeah, they're kind of scary if they're on their day. As a driver, I need to do a lot better. I was very, very far off pace on Bahrain for no apparent reason. I just couldn't figure it out. So I just need to do better, practice more for next round. I hope Jeddah's better now that they don't have a penalty. And yeah, I think my MAPE C is... I'm gonna stay in the C, probably no matter what the results are, unless I don't want to drive, because Matthew Mape was the GOAT. Shout out to him, best team owner.
Cody?
I would ask you to repeat the question because of how long it was, but I'll do my best here.
That's okay. I think if you want to.
No, you're good. I think, me and Samuel, we need to, just keep this up. I think this track in particular was very challenging for a lot of people. And there's a very particular flow, a lot of little quirks with the setup that just don't quite add up. At the end of the day, it was very difficult to be fast around here. So, we take the punches, we roll with them. We're gonna keep going. I think for the rest of the season, I'm optimistic that we can maybe finish in a top 5, maybe if we can get everything nailed down every round. I'm going to ignore the fact that my teammate is the team owner for the leaders. But yeah, no. Just looking forward to a lot of good races. This was a lot of fun. And, if I can survive the sprint, unlike Suzuka, I think I'll be in a good position for the remainder of the races, just to, have some fun, have a good time, have some good battles, and, make some friends while I'm here. That's what I look forward to most.
Casper?
Can you repeat? I kind of zoned out. My bad.
It's okay. I was just saying your team lead the team's championship. You've got your 2nd race win, so I'm curious for your goals heading into Jeddah, but also if you have any personal goals for yourself approaching for you halfway of the championship.
Jeddah wise, like team championship wise, yeah, kind of thought this would happen, or like we would be really strong at lead. Myself in Jeddah, I got pole last time there against Sandeep. I really loved the track. I think Japan and Jeddah and maybe Imola are like my strongest, so really looking forward to that. Kind of just wanted to get Bahrain out the way, didn't really expect to get a podium and a win. And to halfway to the championship, I hope I'll be either leading it or being closer to it.
Thank you very much, all of you, Casper, Cody, and Samuel, for your time. It's been very hectic race here, but seriously, thank you so much for your time in the interviews, and all wish you all luck come for each other.
Bye,
Thank you very
Fabulous.
much. Goodbye, bye.
Thank you.
Okay,
Right then.
that's us here, and then we'll do through one more. I will
Fox Esports.
Yes, I was.
Well, I feel like if we keep Fox Esports short, then we can squeeze in another one. I see
No.
McManus Motorsports wanting one.
No. No, I'm not. You're not a chance. I'm too tired from all this. But we're brought in through to the Fox Esports pair, who have been the best performing team in race 2. Christian, James, Magnus, can you hear us?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, hello.
Great.
Hello.
It's been a fantastic race for you, for all of you as a whole. I think you two, all of you, continue to impress in terms of the new teams, been the best performing, and this has definitely been one of your highlights. I think Christian, second place, Magnus, fourth place in race 2. Both of you two must surely be ecstatic with that performance.
You start.
You can start.
I think you could start.
Yeah, like given like last night, it was like quite not that confident ahead of tonight. Like we was running a bit of pace. Then come warm up and qualifying, suddenly the car comes alive. I had a mistake in sector 2 in my quali lap, so like I could have been at best been P7, but like now it doesn't really matter because we still managed to pick up strong points, and we managed to play like the DRS game quite smart. So like we minimize time loss into the overtaking spots, and I guess in that way we managed to avoid getting caught out from the people from behind. And I guess that's the result of it when you see a spot in almost double podium, but next time I'm pretty sure we should be aiming for that.
Christian?
Yeah, so yeah, lacking confidence yesterday. So was a bit. I wasn't expecting much this race. I was hoping for a top 10. I managed that in both races somehow. Qualifying went meh. Lost 2 tenths, cost me probably top 5 start. Then damage at start of race 1, so I was down on top speed. Race 2 went a lot better, managed to gain a lot of positions at the first lap, and then with some help from Magnus, we managed to get ahead of Youngstra and pull away. Unfortunately, Casper got me. He was really quick today, so no way I was able to defend. I was actually surprised I was able to defend for more than 2 laps. So yeah, I'm happy with the results. For next week, I hope more of the same, more hopefully a bit better, double podium maybe.
Lorenzo?
Yeah, I've got a question for James. Obviously, fairly strong round today, and seems like Magnus has finally found his footing in this season's cars. The gap between Orbit and yourself is quite substantial as it stands with the provisional standings. But do you feel like with the results that you had today, you can further close that gap in Jeddah and going forwards and try and go on for a championship push?
I mean, I must say I'm very, very proud of, you know, with how we've started this season, how mature both Magnus and Christian have been. We certainly weren't expecting to be where we are now, you know, with a win and 2 podiums, 3 rounds in. It's just been a mega effort from the whole team to be in the position that we're in. And if we continue with these results, we can hopefully maintain the gap to Orbit. They're going to be very, very hard to catch because that is a very, very solid team. But if we can just maintain these results, then yeah, I have no doubt in both Magnus and Christian that we can in the whole team that we can keep the gap to Orbit and keep them honest as best we can. But it's going to be a long old season. But yeah, just really happy with how it started, and hopefully we can keep this momentum up.
Final question for you, Christian, and for you, Magnus. Christian, obviously you've got your first race win, and Magnus, you've been, I think, extreme. This is the closest that you've ever been to clinching a podium at the moment. So, questions for you both. Do you have any goals approaching to halfway point of the season that you both personally want to achieve?
I think for myself, it's going to be a race 1 win. I have a race 2 win, but I really want to have a good qualifying and then pull away on the in the first race, especially since the points have been increased for race 1, so it's more to gain.
Yeah, Magnus?
For me, like, given like the last few seasons, both in 24 and 25, I had 2 wins each. So like, I guess my goal for this year is to have 3 wins or more. Like, I'm getting there, and it's still a long season, so anything can happen. And it's usually my personal goal every year is to outscore my previous year points tally. So like, whatever I scored last year, by the end of Abu Dhabi, I'm gonna try and beat that this year. Then see where I end up by the end of... Is it Abu Dhabi racing season finale, or is it Brazil?
Interlagos.
Yeah, so we will see after race. We will see after race in Interlagos where I end up. But I would love to reclaim that P3. Like, I've been losing out on P3 twice in 2 years, so I want to redeem myself for once. But it's gonna be hard.
Thank you, Christian, Magnus, and James for your time. Incredible performance from your races here in Bahrain, and all the best and best of luck through to Jeddah.
Cheers, thanks guys.
Thanks, guys.
Take it.
Okay.
Right then. So we're not doing any more interviews.
Yeah, to all the drivers that are watching the broadcast, I am extremely sorry for the interviews, for the lack of the interviews. But yeah, I think there's just so much to have gone through. But we will continue through the talking points over the course to the next race in Jeddah. But any closing thoughts, Lorenzo?
Yeah, absolutely superb race 1. But as someone put in the stream chat, it seems to have been a once-in-a-lifetime occurrence. As race 2 was very subpar, but, you know, there's 13 more rounds, that's 26 more races. What's the point in dwelling on the bad things that happened in today's race 2 when there's so many more to go through, there's so many more battles to see, so many more winners potentially to see, and point scorers and drivers and whatnot. I was quite down early on after the race and during the race as well. But, you know, looking back now, I see there's no point in, you know, stressing over what happened when there's so much more left to happen, you know. I'm quite positive about the future going forwards for this championship.
Well, after what has been a great return through to the Bahrain International Circuit in the career ladder, we have finally got ourselves our first victors this year. It is Ben Skinner. After winning race 1 in Melbourne, he won race 1 in Bahrain in what could be safely described as probably one of the most exciting Formula Sprint 2 feature races, at least in recent memory. And then come for race 2, it was Casper Kurtz. After winning race 1 in Suzuka, he ended up winning race 2 here in Bahrain after fending off from Christian Glamsetter for that win. And with that as well, we also seen a lot of firsts as well. Riccardo Bassani getting his first points, and Hunter Birch Simulations and Leila Petralia also getting her first points as well. All of that in mind, Bahrain is not over or done yet here in the GPVWC ladder. Stay tuned for us for the rest of the week. As come through to the 2nd of April 2026, we will be hosting through our Formula Sprint 1 coverage. Then on the 6th of March, we'll be, I believe we're traveling over to Mugello for GPVWC Academy. And then we're back over to Tuesday, the 7th of April.
Right.
We are hosting... What?
No, I'm sorry. Academy's not in Mugello. It's in Jeddah.
It's in Jeddah. Sorry, my apologies. Academy the 6th is in... Sorry, Academy the 6th of April is in Jeddah. I thought it was in Mugello because the server's in Mugello. Sorry. Apologies for that.
Is it?
I thought it was, but I digress.
I've not gone on there. I didn't know.
6th of April. 6th of April. Academy will be hosting there. The 7th, the Tuesday, the 7th of April, we'll be hosting through to the Superlights of Bahrain, and then over onto the 9th of April, we'll be going over to Super League as the tension still boils over to see who will be emerging victorious and taking over through to the lead of the championship. But for the FS2 side of things, join us through to the 14th of April as we travel to the Jeddah Corniche circuit for our second street circuit stop in the calendar. It's been very exciting to have been commentating with you all. Thank you very much through to Lorenzo Eterovic-Funcic for his fantastic analysis and fantastic co-commentary. Thank you massively to Remco de Zeeuw for all of his broadcast directing and moral support too. It's absolute a bliss and a joy to be working with him. And thank you all to the viewers for all of your attention and all of your sharing and your viewing and stuff, and it's obviously been a pleasure to commentate with you. But until then, for us in FS2, we'll see you back in about 2 weeks' time in Saudi Arabia. But until then, I've been Amir. Thank you all very much for watching. We'll see you next time. Have a good night.
Bye bye.